All right, good evening and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Nancy County Board of Commissioners. I want to welcome everyone who's in attendance and also the ones watching online and our live stream. Tonight we're going to get started with our invocation. I'm going to ask Pastor Matt Arrowood from Mineral Springs Church to come forward.
Let us pray. Father God, we just thank you so much for another day that you've given, Lord, and we just thank you for this time to come and gather together to meet and to take care of some business. And Lord, I just ask right now that you just take and would just fill this place with your Spirit. Just fill these commissioners and everyone else with your Spirit as well. That Lord, you just give them your guidance and give them your wisdom, Father. We know that in the Proverbs you say that you founded wisdom. Or founded the world upon wisdom, and Lord Jesus, we just ask that you give them the wisdom on how to deal with every business that comes up tonight. Lord, we just are so thankful that we are able to meet and conduct this business. We just ask again that you take over and that everything that is done would be to your glory and to your honor. Lord, we just thank you so much for this another day again, and thank you for this time. And we just thank you so much that you came and sent your Son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross for our sins, and that you allowed him to rise from the dead, proving that he has conquered death, hell, sin, Satan, and the grave, making the only way we can have a right relationship with you. And Lord, we just, again, just thank you so much for all you've done and all you're going to do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Arrowood, for that. All right, at this time, Vice Chairman Robert Mims will lead our Pledge of Allegiance.
Everybody stand and put your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you for that, Vice Chair. All right, I'm going to read our ethics statement and we'll approve our agenda. So, in accordance with the State Government Ethics Act, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflicts of interest and appearances of conflict. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest or appearance of conflict with respect to any matter coming before the board tonight? If so, please identify the conflict and refrain from any undue participation in the particular matter involved. So at this time, are there any conflicts? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Mims, second by Commissioner Gatewood or Commissioner Little Reed. All in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. All right. At this time, we're going to enter into a public hearing, so I'll entertain a motion to enter that hearing.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Mims, second by Commissioner Gatewood. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I'm going to call our planning director, Mr. Addison, forward.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good evening.
Commissioner. So, I know we have a full agenda tonight, so we'll jump right into it. There we go. So the first public hearing we'll have tonight in regards to zoning will be for text amendment 25-0002. And so with this text amendment, we aim to do several things. First and foremost, we want to correct some Scrivener's errors. And secondly, we want to establish some standards for taxidermy as a permitted use, establish standards for ex situ remediation facilities, revise standards for extraction of earth material facilities, establish a lot size exemption for reduction of lot area deficiencies, establish a separate subdivision exemption for public or quasi-public utility purposes, and another subdivision exemption for family or private cemeteries in RA districts. And I will say, Commissioners, we're having this meeting shortly after we had the planning board hearing on the 10th of this month, and in front of you, I've laid a packet out and I flagged where the planning board made slight revisions. It's flagged and indicated in red, and they'll be indicated in red for the public in the PowerPoint as well. So the first one will be to establish standards for taxidermy facilities as a permitted use. There's been several inquiries into establishing these, but there wasn't really a great category to put this in, so I saw a good need and a good opportunity for that to be developed. So the PowerPoint's going to kind of outline the highlights, but you do have the full text in front of you, and it is posted online for public consumption. But first, we would like to recommend the amendment to the home occupation section. That way, in certain instances, pursuant to a special use permit, someone could develop a taxidermy business as a home occupation pursuant to the standards found within that subsection. And then we would like to add it as a full standalone permitted use. Most of the regulations recommended pertain to state and federal statutes or administrative codes. The sub-item D is one in particular where we basically say, you can't bury anything on site, no waste materials left outside to rot or anything like that. However, when we were doing the planning board hearing, there was some concern from the planning board members about giving the health department the optionality to permit on-site burial. This language was originally included because in General Statute 130A, statute does charge the local health director with preventing health risk and disease, and some administrative codes do allow for on-site burial, but they felt it prudent to go ahead and make it a little more restrictive to go ahead and completely prohibit it. In terms of the planning department, I have no issue with making it more restrictive and just saying no on-site burial, period. That's okay with me. I don't have any issue with that. And maybe what we can do, since we have several topics to discuss tonight, I'll just stop at each one and see if there's any questions from the commissioners.
That'll be fine. Any questions at this time on the home occupation for taxidermy?
Okay. So we'll move right ahead. So the next one is for ex situ remediation. As you are aware, we've had several facilities of that type operate within the county. And so since they were done prior to zoning, we didn't really have any control over those activities. And it wasn't incorporated into our new zoning ordinance. So this is a good chance to get in there and set some regulations that such facilities would have to adhere to. And just to make everyone aware, so ex situ remediation is when you have material, typically it's soil, but it could be water. It's removed from its original site, transported somewhere else so that its contaminants or pollutants or whatever the issue is can be remediated. Generally, but not always, generally this is done for petroleum contaminated soils, but it could be other materials, but that is the most common. So so this particular project, it would be approved pursuant to a special use permit approved by the Board of Commissioners. We would have a minimum lot size of 10 acres. They would have to submit a site plan where they identified what type of material they're going to take, where it's coming from, declare that, it's X number of feet from any streams or schools or hospitals or daycares, that sort of thing, and tell us what type of remediation, the methods they're going to use. And it's pretty similar for the operations plan as well. The rehabilitation plan would have to indicate how they're going to remediate the site should the company go under or move away or anything like that. And again, all the standards are in your package just for the sake of a PowerPoint. So some of these will go into depth a little more. As we've seen with these types of entities, sometimes setbacks are where we could protect a lot of the adjoining property owners or natural resources. So the recommendation is to adopt pretty stringent setbacks so that if some sort of disaster or leaching of the material should occur, the setback should be sufficient enough to present most damage to adjoining property or outside assets. Like I said, the setbacks on this are pretty extensive. We really want to focus on protection of natural resources and property. One thing of note is the planning board felt that the setback from schools, daycares, and hospitals should be revised to be 500 feet instead of 300 feet. I have no issue with that. If that's the recommendation you guys would like to take up, that's fine as well. Next standards would be nuisance controls. This is to make sure, they don't shine lights onto adjoining property owners. The piles of material that they're remediating aren't of excessive height. Where they access the facility isn't going to abut a property line or anything like that. It's just stuff to help protect adjoining landowners. And then subsection 3 continues that natural resource protection, where we really want to regulate and protect our natural resources in the abutting properties. So, they couldn't accept certain types of materials or certain types of contaminants, such as hazardous, infectious, radioactive, toxic, PFAS, macroplastics, human waste, all these sorts of things that we just don't want to see. And that's, again, to protect natural resources and the adjoining property. One thing of note is the original language institute a 250-mile radius for exception of material. Planning board recommended to reduce that down to 50. Again, I have no issue with that. It just makes it more restrictive. Okay, moving forth, like I said, they would have to have an operations and rehabilitation plan, and so that section references a lot of state and federal standards. Then a reclamation bond. So my recommendation was to charge a $75,000 flat fee plus $10,000 per acre for the bond value. When the planning board took a look at that, they felt that wasn't sufficient. So their recommendation was to increase it to $150,000 plus a scaling rate of $50,000 per acre. Again, no issue on my part from that. There was some conversation as references material. So I've done a lot of research through some federal and state agencies. There's not a lot of great references for remediation of such or rehabilitation of these facilities should they go under. I can find great resources for what would be equivalent to a Superfund site, but nothing for a small 10 or 20 acre remediation of an Exit 2 facility. So I don't see any issue with increasing that. I mean, it'll just make it more restrictive on the company, but that's at the board's pleasure. So before we move on from Exit 2 remediation, any questions on those standards or comments from the commissioners? No?
I would like to commend the planning board on taking a more stringent approach to it,
Yes.
trying to restrict it. If it was my vote alone, I would just say no in general, but I understand that we can't do that. So I'm all for the most restrictive means we can put in that category.
Yeah, and I think it's great. And I told the planning board, I'm a department of one, so sometimes the planning board is how I bounce things off. So I took no issue with any of their provided recommendations.
Yeah. And there is the difference in the ex situ and in situ. So if a company wants to produce a product, they can come to Anson County and produce it instead of producing it somewhere else and bringing us the trash.
That's correct.
So,
Yeah, ex situ is different from in situ. Okay. Moving forward, the next topic is revising the standards for extraction of earth materials. That's essentially a mine or a quarry or something like that. Right now, we do have standards for this, but there was some areas in our regulations that it could be strengthened and just revised for better clarity. So we'll go through that. Didn't change anything in regards to where it's permitted or how. Did clarify that in reference to a state statute, it's a minimum lot size of 1 acre. We established setbacks for this sort of facility, which did not exist in its current iteration of the ordinance. However, I would, when the commissioners choose to vote on this tonight, if you do, I would like to make a request. It was pointed out there was I don't want to say a mistake, but I just want to add some extra clarity if on one section, if we could include that it's in reference to a public road right-of-way instead of just a right-of-way, in case there's transmission lines or water utility lines or something like that. Just wanted to clarify, my intent was to say public road right-of-way, but as it's written, it did not include public road, so I would ask that that be taken up as well. Establish screening requirements, which would be exactly the same as those recommended for and adopted for solar facilities. Security fencing requirements when it's adjacent to dwellings. Establish erosion control requirements, which didn't exist prior either. Establish nuisance control requirements. And then within nuisance control, we moved some standards to this section. Right now, the language only allows a facility of that nature to operate at 50 decibels. And I'm talking at 45 to 50 decibels right now. So there's no way you'd be able to operate a mine at 50 decibels. So revise that to kind of match real world standards. And I've played around with it. I don't have a true $10,000 decibel reader, but there's apps and you can kind of get a sense of it. Establish spoil pipe regulations to manage the height and slope. Did some small revisions to permanent roads so that we can better define them and their paving requirements. And the next big topic of discussion will be the reclamation bond. So currently, the state requires, under General Statute 74, the Mining Act, requires that mining operators have a bond issued in favor of the state. And, you know, the statutes and those regulations spell out the value and how it's issued. Right now, our ordinance requires they be doubly bonded in the sense that they would have a state bond and a county bond. That's a pretty tall order for most businesses. So my recommendation was to revise our bond requirements so that they have a state bond, and if at any time statutes or administrative codes are amended or repealed to no longer require a state bond, that they have 60 days to issue a county bond under the same standards. That way at all times they'll still be bonded, they just won't have to be doubly bonded. Any questions on that section before I move forward?
Just want to point out in that section and back in the ex situ section, all of those, the only way they would be permitted, they would still come before this board to be allowed.
That is correct. So the ex situ and the extraction of earth materials are special use permits, Class A, so they have to come to the board for approval. So even if a company meets all the standards that we've adopted in our ordinance and brings it to you, the commissioners can still deny the permit if the commissioner's opinion is it wouldn't be good for the health, safety, and welfare of the county or its people.
Okay, so just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
And is the increased decibel level went from 50 to 60, is that correct? That's what I'm looking at right now.
Give me
50 to
one
70.
second.
Am I in the wrong place?
It's on page, I don't know your packet. It's well, if you look at the packet I gave you
Page 10.
earlier, the tab, when it's page 10, so it would be 70 during essentially daylight hours
Okay.
and 60 during night hours.
Oh, okay, all right, thank you.
And I will say I did reach out to the mining division when I drafted a lot of this language, and the assistant director saw no issue with some of the revisions we were proposing.
All right. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. So this next section is to establish a lot size exemption for reduction of lot area deficiencies in RA zone districts, which I know is a mouthful. So to kind of lay it out, 62% of our county is zoned as RA5. And so that means in 62% of the county to develop, you have to have 5 acres, unless you have a lot that's grandfathered in. Over the past 12, 18 months that we've had zoning, I've had to turn down a lot of plats for approval because when somebody wants to adjust their boundary line or add a little bit of acreage and they still don't meet that 5 acre requirement, we can't approve it because they don't meet the 5 acres. So in these rural areas, my recommendation is to allow people to adjust their boundary lines as long as they can demonstrate that they are decreasing their deficiency. In other words, they are gaining acreage, the parcel that's granting it stays in compliance. It gets us closer to compliance, but it doesn't get us all the way there. I can tell you over the past 12, 18 months, we've had to turn down maybe 15, and a lot of them don't even make it to the platting stage because they'll call me and discuss it beforehand. But any questions on that subsection?
So I got a question on that.
Okay.
So I guess the numbers, I see it in person, but so if a person's got 5 acres and somebody wants to buy 1 acre, you're telling them they can't sell the 1 acre. They can't sell that 1 acre because it'll drop them below 5.
Yes, so in RA5, if you have an existing lot, if Billy Bob has 5 acres, and let's imagine all our conversation is an RA5, which is a 5 acre requirement. If Billy Bob has 5 acres, he cannot divide his property because he would be out of compliance. He has to meet the area requirement. If he has 10 acres, he could divide it and create 2 5-acre lots, or if any lot created needs to have at least 5 acres. There's been a lot of situations, mainly between land swaps, or somebody wants to add just a little bit of acreage. So say Billy Bob's got 10 acres and Sally Sue has 3, and Sally Sue just wants to buy an acre to put a new shed on her property. As it is right now, even though she's going from 3 acres to 4, I can't approve it because she doesn't meet the 5-acre requirement. So this would be an exemption because she's demonstrating that she's decreasing her deficiency, and the granting parcel still remains in compliance. In that example, it would go from 10 to 9.
I see what you're saying.
So the grantor still has to have over 5 acres.
The grantor still has to remain in compliance. That way, the grantor still has to remain in
I thought
compliance.
there was a clause in there that if it was a family member, a son or daughter, they could grant an acre.
Only for family members. But like I said, over the past 12, 18 months, we've turned down quite a few. And a lot of times the property owner or the surveyor will call me and I'll just tell them it's not even feasible, so they don't even, which is nice, they don't waste money on the surveyor. But that's been a growing issue.
I just kind of struggle with the fact we're telling somebody, yeah, you own 5 acres, but you can't ever sell it. So, I struggle with that. It's mine. I can sell. I can do what I want to with it.
You can so technically, you can sell it, but doesn't mean we have to issue a development permit.
And that's what I'm saying. As long as we're not prohibiting the sale, the buyer and the seller both need to know what the ramifications if they fall below the 5-acre minimum.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to develop.
That's right. But they still can sell it, correct?
Yeah, but there hasn't been a situation yet where someone wants to acquire the acreage and not develop it.
Well, so if my neighbor has 5 acres and I want to buy the acre to put my shed on, and they're willing to sell, are we going to prohibit them from selling me that 1 acre?
Yes, statute and school of government backs it up. If they can't meet all the requirements, then the subdivision isn't allowed to proceed. And that's why in the continental U.S. and even North Carolina, the predominant zoning designation hovers around RA1 to RA2. So by us being so heavily zoned RA5, it creates this pretty steep hurdle.
I'm going to have to do some more thinking on that. I just don't agree with telling someone you can't sell your property because it's not going to be able to be developed.
Yeah, and that's not me. That's state law.
Yeah. So, okay. Any other questions on that?
Not just for information, I think Anson County, the residents have felt, they don't want to be stacked on top of each other. That's why the RA5.
Oh yeah, I agree. Let's go 10 acres on it. I'm fine with that. I just don't think we should tell any landowner you can't sell anything you own.
Right, I agree with that.
Even because they may not want to develop it.
Exactly.
They may just want to sell it to their neighbor because they like them.
Yeah.
But we're telling them no, you can't sell your property. So
Yes, yeah. When you subdivide a property, you have to demonstrate that it meets all the requirements of the subdivision standards, one of which is the area or acreage requirement. So
And the only solution to that would be able to change the actual zoning, right?
Yeah, we would have to
Right.
go through a countywide rezoning
Right.
process and just redo our whole zoning map. And short of doing that, this exemption would be the only
This-
way I
yeah.
can think of.
Yeah, this is a step forward. I mean, it helps.
Yeah, short of doing countywide rezoning, and when I say that, I mean just the zoning map. This would just kind of be a stopgap
Yeah,
to help us get there.
yeah. So, okay,
This makes it a little less restrictive.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's one step forward. It's just not all the way there.
We're not making anything any more restrictive.
No, no.
No, that's correct. You're still allowing people to gain acreage. That's right.
Okay.
Okay, so the next subsection is establish a subdivision exemption for public or quasi-public utility purposes. And by that, we don't want to require someone who wants to put a water tower or a utility substation or anything of that nature to meet these acreage requirements. Usually they need the smallest footprint possible. We don't want to require Duke or PD Electric to have a 5-acre parcel in Ansonville for a substation. So this allows a subdivision exemption so that they can establish lots that don't meet the area requirement. Kind of in the similar vein of what we were just talking about. Any questions on that one? And then the last one is a subdivision exemption for family and our private cemeteries in RA zone districts. That's been another topic that's come up several times. And again, the 5-acre requirement is quite a hurdle to jump across on that one. So this would allow an exemption as long as it's for family or private purposes. It can't be, plots within the cemetery can't be sold, leased, anything like that. You know, we can't run it as a business. It's just for family cemeteries. Any questions on that one?
Good with that.
Okay.
As long as you can trying to get my thoughts right now as far as, and I understand what you're saying. I'm just kind of curious as to, is there anything that you need to do to determine that it's a family member being put there? Or?
Yeah, we would question them to make sure that, just kind of like we do when they file a plat for a family member exemption, you have to
Okay.
tell us what your relationship is, just to show that it's not going to be commercial or it's for
Right,
family.
okay.
But I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole. Or I didn't feel like
Right.
I wanted to go down the rabbit hole of couldn't tell your third cousin you couldn't be buried on the
Right,
family
right,
farm
right,
because
right,
he's
right.
so extended. So
Yeah.
I didn't put any language like that, but.
That's understandable. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, and one thing, anytime we adopt or amend regulations, we just want to make sure it aligns with our land use plan or any other development ordinances. My opinion is that yes, it aligns with everything. Any questions on that one? No? Okay, so like I said, the planning board heard this on the 10th of this month. Oh, sorry, I jumped ahead. I recommend, by the way. So, planning board did hear this on the 10th of July. They voted 6-0 in favor of it, so it was unanimous. They did, as we've covered in the PowerPoint and in your packets as flagged, they did have a few tweaks that they would like to see, and so that was their recommendation, was to approve it, but with those minor revisions. And so I know we've kind of gone through it, but are there any other commissioner comments or concerns, questions?
I got one recommendation. I mean, I know we said they changed it to 500-foot setback for school, daycare, and hospital. I'd just like to see that 500-foot setback to dwelling units, religious institutions, public buildings, and/or public land. Just go ahead and put 500 feet.
So
For
you
that.
would, just want to make sure, you would combine 3 and 4 and make them all 500 feet?
That's what I would recommend.
Okay. Anything else?
Unless we have the option just to say no.
I mean,
we still have the option to say no when they come.
Yeah, at the end of the day, these are the standards they have to meet just to apply.
Yeah.
If they bring it to you, you can still deny the
Yeah.
project.
And I think that 50-mile radius is very conservative. I mean, that's as far as, you know, not accepting material beyond a 50-mile radius. I think that's conservative, so that's good.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions on the text amendments?
Just a comment, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Addison, excellent presentation, excellent visuals, well presented. I also attended the planning board meeting and hearing on YouTube. It was a very good, excellent 2-hour meeting. Mr. Addison, Mr. Jeff Boothby, who was the chairman, they did an excellent job. There was a lot of discussion. So I am very pleased with the work that this board is doing.
Yes, I want to commend you on that, and also let the citizens know, and the ones that are listening, that the planning board meetings will be live streamed. You'll find them on the same YouTube that the commissioners' meeting are live streamed. So thank you for getting that set up.
Yes.
Any other questions at this time? All right, you're going to roll into the.
No, just in case there's any public comments, we'll allow
Okay,
them to
all right.
comment.
So at this time, anyone in the public has a chance to speak on the text amendments that's just been presented. All right, hearing none. Oh, yes, ma'am. If you can you come to the podium so that the live stream can hear? I thought you were going to get loud for a minute. We were going to hear you.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
I came in on the middle of what he was saying there, and I have some property here in Anson County, and it is a little bit off that, that 5 acre. I got a bunch that's even with 5 acres, but then I got 2 acres that's on the side. So would that bother me if I wanted to sell those 2 acres?
It's kind of hard to answer not knowing what you're zoned as. So it depends what you're zoned as. What if that lot, it's a separate lot already? It's just a 2-acre lot?
Yes.
So even if you were in an RA5, it would be grandfathered in.
Okay,
So it's called a lot of record, so you wouldn't have to meet that requirement
thank you,
because it's grandfathered in.
thank you.
All right, anyone else on the text amendments? I don't hear anybody, so.
Okay, so if I could, at the board's pleasure, have a motion to adopt it and include, if you, at your pleasure, if you would like to include the planning board's recommended revisions, my revision to add the word public road, and the revision to combine sub-item D1, B3, and 4 to all be 500-foot setback.
Do we need to make that motion in the public hearing or once we come out of the public
Need to
hearing?
come out of
That's-
Yeah, yeah,
I-
sorry.
Yeah. So. Do we need to come out of public hearing number 1 and go into another one, or can you conduct the second public hearing? You have the second one, the,
I would have you, yeah. If you want, you can just come out of public hearing and we'll just go ahead and do the motion for this one.
Make
and
a
then
motion
proceed
to come
into
out of
the next
public
one.
okay, all right. I didn't know if you wanted to handle both. So we have a motion by Commissioner Ellerby, second by Commissioner Gatewood to exit the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, so at this time, what's the board's pleasure on the text amendments?
Make a motion to adopt the text
Second.
amendments.
We have a motion to adopt with the changes that
changes,
were
yes.
reflected
Changes.
tonight.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Woodburn, second by Commissioner Gatewood. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion passes.
Make a motion, we go back into public hearing.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion by Commissioner Gatewood, second by Commissioner Little Reed to enter public hearing again. So I'll turn it over to you.
So this next public hearing is for a street rezoning identified as ZMA 25-0006. So This is a legislative hearing, so unsworn facts and opinions, anyone can get up and speak. Standing is not required. The commissioners, actually, sorry, let's back up one step. Just want to make sure, pursuant to 160D, when you make your motion for the one you just closed out, there needs to be a statement of plan consistency. Do you find that the text amendments were consistent with the land use plan?
Yes.
I'll amend my
Somebody-
motion to that effect.
Perfect. Just want to make sure we covered our bases.
Yes.
Okay, so, sorry. So a straight rezoning, at the end, once you've deliberated and made your findings, again, you'll just need to make a statement of plan consistency and a statement of reasonableness. And so this property in question is approximately 2.25 acres. It's currently zoned as medium-density residential, which is R20. The applicant, Plank Road Realty, is requesting to rezone it to highway business, also known as HB. As a straight rezoning, it is a legislative process, and there's no conditions placed on the rezoning, so the applicant could pursue anything permitted within a highway business zoning district. So this is the property in question. It's along Highway 74 at the intersection of Highway 74 and Old Prison Camp Road. This just kind of shows you the zoning designations within the area. It's really large blocks of R20, light industrial, heavy industrial, with a little bit of a highway, a neighborhood business here and there along 74. And then whether you're going west or east, you hit some of the municipality zoning. This is the site condition as it exists today. The only item of note that is different is there is a small pod storage box kind of used as advertisement located on the property. But other than that, the site exists in this condition. It's undeveloped. I can see no indication that it's ever been previously developed. In terms of utilities, public water and sewer is available to the site. In regards to environmental features, the National Wetlands Inventory does indicate that there are some wetlands on the site. So depending on what the applicant chooses to do with the property, or whoever the future owner may be, if their activities would impact the wetlands, they may be required to secure a 404 or 401 wetlands permit for their activities. In conjunction with those wetlands, there are also flood zones. These are what you call 1% flood zones or 100-year flood zones. So if they're going to develop in that, there's going to be additional regulatory standards that they would have to meet in regards to development in flood zones. Outside of that, there are no other environmental features of note, no historic resources either. In regards to transportation, like I said, the property is at the intersection of US Highway 74 and Old Plank Road. Highway 74 gets a fair amount of traffic, as we all know. Old Prison Camp Road is a much smaller road, lighter traffic, but it is at the intersection of both of those roads. In regards to zoning history, this is the first rezoning request for this parcel. There have been no other rezonings or rezoning requests in the nearby vicinity. Don't know why that got duplicated. One thing we always do when we go through a rezoning is consider how it aligns with the land use plan. So the land use plan identifies this parcel as a working farm land use area. A rezoning to highway business would be somewhat similar and analogous to the suburban commercial center. So if you were to approve rezoning of the parcel, you would be committing to amending the land use plan map. While it is identified as a working farm area within the land use plan, on the ground that region is predominantly silviculture, undeveloped tracts, medium-sized lot residences, and businesses up and down 74. And I believe there's a few cemeteries in the nearby area. Even if you were to rezone this 2.25 acre tract, I don't think it would substantially change the character of the region, just given its small size. So given all those characteristics, the fact that the surrounding area is predominantly undeveloped, there's a few houses and businesses, its proximity to Highway 74, and how highway business zoning coincides with this parcel's location, I do recommend it for approval for the rezoning, and the planning board made a similar recommendation, finding that there was no issue with it. This time, are there any questions or comments from the commissioners?
Just one question. What is the application fee for a straight rezoning? What did this cost?
Let me see what date they applied. It was $225 in our new fee schedule. It's $400.
Okay,
I wanna
thank you.
say. And I will say for anyone that's curious, they applied before the date, so it was $225 for them. But now it is $400, and that really just covers our cost of publication in the newspaper.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right.
Any public?
I'll open the floor to the public. Any comments from the public on the rezoning case? Yes, sir.
Is that the end across from Bowen Road?
Yes.
That's where it's at?
It's in the corner of Prison Camp and 74.
Yeah, right across from
Yeah,
Bowen Road.
I couldn't remember the name of it. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I just want to let you all know, most of you aren't aware. In that area, when the 24-inch water main was put in, it's approximately 40 to 50 feet off the road. So if somebody was to buy it to try to develop it, I would put a clause in there to let them know you've got a 24-inch main that's probably 40 feet off the road because of the way that road transitions in there. The valves are probably from me to Commissioner Mims or further off the road, so it's not on 74. That 24-inch main goes through that bank of dirt.
Okay.
So just to let them know that if they start grading, there is a 24-inch main in that bank of dirt.
Thank you for that information.
Good information.
Anyone else from the public? All right. So at this time, that conclude, oh, go ahead.
Make a motion, we come out of public hearing.
Second.
All right. Have a motion to exit public hearing by Commissioner Ellerby, second by Commissioner Gatewood. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, what's the board's pleasure on the rezoning we just
I
heard?
make a motion, we approve the rezoning under the conditions that, we make sure we clarify where that water main is, if there's any potential, yeah.
Okay,
I will say, it is street zoning, so we can't impose conditions, but I will make sure the applicant is
They know.
fully aware that the water main's there.
So let me ask this question, I've made a motion, but I wanna ask this question before.
I'll second. the motion.
Could, yeah, this is the second, so I guess we're in conversation. Could that be a problem, I guess, at some point?
It would just depend
For
what they're
commercial
trying to
use.
develop it for. You know, some activities, if they're not gonna use water, it wouldn't be an issue at all. And being that it's right on the highway, I'm sure they're gonna develop it, hire a surveyor to map things out. I don't think it would be an issue.
it would be the buyer or the owner's due diligence.
That's right,
to-
it's on the
Yeah.
owner.
to-
But it is very good
Is that
information,
our
make sure
water-
they're aware.
That's our water main, though?
It is our
Yeah,
water
that's
line,
what-
yes,
okay.
yes.
There's also gonna be dependent on what the depth of the water line is, and I'm hoping it's at least 4 to 6 feet deep.
I've got a as-built drawing in the office, and it tells you how deep it is in 1996 and 97 when it put in. But you working tomorrow? I'll get up with you, cause I got the blueprints in the office, and we'll sit down and look and see exactly how far it is, and then show you how deep it is in the ground. So it's got drawings what was actually put in 96 and 97, so I'll get with Nick, that way they can know exactly how deep it is, cause I want to say years ago, somebody asked about, the reason I brought it up, somebody asked about cutting that hill down. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's 24-inch water main going through there. If that was the same grade when they put it in, you've got a little
Yeah.
situation. But that's why I brought it up, because we'll find out. I'll bring the blueprints up to your office, and we'll look and see how far it is off the road exactly, and how deep it is. So if that answers your question, Mr. Manager, I've got blueprints that tell you exactly where it is and how deep it is.
Yeah. Mr. Addison, it's my opinion, I don't think that holds up the rezoning part of it. That would come into play once they go to
That-
develop and file for permits and all that.
Yes, that would be when they want to develop it, because they may do certain development that may not even impact the water line at all.
Yeah. So, okay.
Technically, this would just add value to the property.
Potentially. I'm not an appraiser,
mean,
but potentially.
I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It gives them more opportunities of development for
Right,
commercial
for that
activities.
reason.
Yes.
My motion still stands.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Ellerby, second by Commissioner Woodburn, to approve the rezoning. I'm assuming in your motion, you do find it compatible with the land use plan.
Well, yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's right there, Highway 74.
Okay, so just wanted to clarify that.
My
So,
concern was- I
the-
did, yeah.
All right, any other discussion on the rezoning? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? All right, motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, so that concludes the public hearing portions. So at this time, we're going to move on to our consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Gatewood, second by Commissioner Ellerby. Any discussion on the consent items? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. All right, moving to our appearances. First, oh, she's hiding back there, okay. First up, we have Dr. Stacy Waters Bailey, who is the newly appointed South Piedmont Community College Director. So if you'll come forward and give us an introduction. And you can remove the mic if you need to.
I'm short. So hello, everybody. Thank you for inviting me, commissioners, tonight. I am the new president of South Piedmont Community College. I am Stacy Waters Bailey. I started on July 1st, so just 2.5 weeks into the job. I've actually spent the entire day today in Anson visiting and meeting people and learning more about this great county that I'm excited to serve. So I look forward to hopefully meeting you all more more often and get to work very closely together.
Well, thank you. We've already met one time this morning, but I appreciate you in this position at South Piedmont. I know we have Commissioner Woodburn who serves on the board there. I told you in the meeting, I'm sure you've heard it already, but we appreciate the value that South Piedmont provides to the citizens of Anson County, and we want to continue that investment into our county from a college standpoint. South Piedmont is the only option for some students in this county, so we want to continue to invest and improve the college's footprint here in our county.
Absolutely, Chairman. I will assure you I will do everything to support this community and every student and every community member in Anson. I feel very passionate about this community. I've told several people already. It is very much so, reminds me of where I grew up in southeastern Virginia, very rural, very agriculture based. The community college was my choice in higher education. Anything closer was over an hour away. So I understand what the community college means to Anson, and I will do everything within my power to ensure that every community member here is served by South Piedmont. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Are there any other comments for Dr. Waters Bailey? Or
Just a couple, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I may, and I'll be very brief.
Sure.
Number one, I think Ms. Michelle Brock did an excellent job as the interim president, and please convey that sentiment to her from me, if you would.
Well,
And number two, I was reading in the Express newspaper that the Lockhart Taylor Center is going to get a $1.5 million upgrade. $1.5 million upgrade. That is just outstanding. So thank you very much for that consideration.
you are welcome, sir.
yes, so that is exactly what I meant when I said keep investing in Anson County, because that's what we want to see.
Absolutely.
And there was an upgrade done at the Garibaldi building on the Polk
Yes,
campus as
wait.
well.
No. All right, any other comments for? All right, hearing none. Again, thank you. And again, welcome to Anson County. Welcome to South Piedmont.
Thank you.
All right, up next, we have Ethan Dillon and Sam Cole from the Anson County 4-H.
Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
I'm gonna give a quick introduction, and we'll let Ethan make his remarks. But it's that time of year again. I believe this is our 4th consecutive young person representing Anson County 4-H to go down to the Youth Voice, the NCACC, North Carolina Association County Commissioners Conference, and so I'm very excited. It is a chance for our young people to learn about local government, civic engagement. They'll do workshops, and they'll get time to spend with our commissioners. So. Ethan, he has 2 assignments. So he got on the agenda, he's getting ready to speak, and then he'll need to take a picture. So at the very end, if we don't mind, if y'all can kind of group here in the middle, and we'll get a good picture, everybody.
All right.
Hello, my name is Ethan Dillon. I go to Anson County Early College. I have attended 4-H for 4 years. I was a volunteer that helped other kids. Throughout the years that I volunteered there, I noticed that, because my mother volunteered me to be there. I didn't know until she told me last minute. I was like, no, I don't want to go. And when I went, and after I did all of it, I had realized that I kind of wanted to do it again. My second year, I realized that these kids were having fun. I was having fun. I learned a few things, and in my third year, I realized that 4-H doesn't just teach you stuff, it changes you to become a better person for other people and for your community. This was my 4th year this summer, and I realized that I want to help out in 4-H in whatever way I can, and that I want to help Sam and what he's doing and help these kids grow up and learn to be better people themselves.
All right. Sounds like sometimes mama's knows best, right? Well, it's a pleasure meeting you, and look forward to seeing you in Pitt County at our convention. So thank you. And do you need anything from us other than a picture, Sam? Okay. So we're still working on getting that put together. All right. Up next, we have Ms. Cannon, Denise Cannon, their grants administration update. Yeah. He gonna tell you in just a second. You gonna leave me hanging like that?
Good evening, Chairman
Good evening.
Howell, Board of Commissioners, Mr. Sossaman,
Evening.
Attorney Forbes, And I hope this is new clerk to the board, right?
We do have a new clerk.
Congratulations, Ms. Adams. I heard that the previous clerk was pretty strict on the work, so you got your hands full, but congratulations again. All right, let's get straight into it. We have a lot going on. It look like you have a full agenda. So if we go down the list, the handout that I have for you, I have a list of grants that I have submitted already. They range from $5,000 to $500,000. If we continue to go down the list, these are the next two grants I'll be start to working on, and then next two after that. If you flip over the page, these are the grants that I am either currently doing or will start doing that have been awarded. The CDBG grant is first, then Parks and Rec, this is for equipment, then the NCRR. The latter two are the ones that I have not started working on. They was just awarded. Then last section here, we have the grants that's gonna be online coming up in July, August, September, and on through the fall. So we'll be looking at those grants as well. So, and they range from anywhere from $40,000 to $500,000. So why not jump for the highest amount, bring the funding to Anson County. Now, if I can draw your attention back to the CDBG grant, that grant was awarded to Anson County in summer of 2023. And Commissioner Leary, that's in your district, District 1, the Burnsville area. And that grant will close out next year of 2026. And with that being said, I have Mr. Luster here, and he's gonna explain a little bit more in depth about that grant and how we're doing with it and in preparedness to closing it out next year.
First of all, I want to thank Ms. Cannon for the invitation to speak with you this evening. My name is James Luster. I'm with Central Iowa Regional Council. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thanks for the opportunity to speak with you this evening. I want to give you a brief update on the Community Development Block Grant. This application included 12 housing units when it was initially submitted. We have 6 that are eligible. All of those initial applicants had to go through a screening process. That screening process included a title search to confirm ownership, and there are a number of other items that they had to meet. After the screening process, there were 6 eligible applicants. We're currently moving forward with that process. The next step is the bidding phase for those homes. We have a lead and asbestos and radon assessment will be conducted within the next few weeks. That contract should have been recently signed. And once we get the information back from the lead, asbestos, and radon assessments, we'll include that in a bid package to be submitted to contractors for bidding. We anticipate within the next 30 to 60 days that those bids will be received, and then we'll start into the loan closing process to move forward with construction. As Ms. Cannon stated, we look to be closing out this project at the end of this fiscal year, early part of next year, and that's pretty much where the program is. And I'll address any questions that you might have about the block grant program.
Question. Why is it taking so long to process and complete this particular grant?
All of these community development block grants require a number of preliminary activities for clearance and funding release. We just recently got funding release for this project based on some additional documentation that was needed by the Department of Commerce. So we're trying to move forward with that. Again, our closings will be held within the next few weeks, and then we'll be moving forward with construction. But there's a lot of administrative paperwork that's required on the front end.
Thank you.
You started with 12 homes or houses?
Started with 12 units. After the screening, we were down to 6 that were eligible. And primarily what happens is individuals feel that they have total ownership and sole ownership of the property. And when we go through the title search, we find that that's not the case, or there are some tax issues or other things that make them not eligible.
So is there a way to go back and find 6 more? Or I guess why were we limited to 12 to begin with? And then if we didn't get 12, is there a way to get back to 12?
When the application starts out, there is an advertisement, public notice, and we look out for potential applicants. We go with the applicants that we receive from the beginning, and those are the ones that we can include. Once the application is approved by the state, we can't add any additional applicants after it's approved by the state from the original application.
Okay, no, thank you.
So was there only 12 applicants to begin with?
There were probably the neighborhood of 30 applicants in the beginning. Those applicants, the county establishes what they call a housing selection committee. And that selection committee reviews all of the preliminary applicants. So it's brought down from the original 30 or so, and that number's an estimate, to the 12 that are the top applicants based on a review and certain criteria for participation.
But I thought, Mr. Lester, you had to continuously applications that if some didn't pass, you could go to the next one.
That was out of 30.
Out of 30.
Yes, they're ranked out of the 30.
Oh, okay.
And the top 12 were the ones that were included.
Okay.
So with these 6 eligible houses that you have now, you're saying that you are on track to have a successful completion with all 6 now?
We should be, yes.
All right. I may be misspoken here, but did we receive an email that I guess you are going to retire or have retired, or where are we at in that status?
That is correct. I will be retiring July 31st. The transition team has been meeting with the county to move this project forward. We've had meetings with Ms. Cannon, Mr. Sossman. There are 3 individuals that will be handling the transition. Ms. Christina Donis will be a direct contact person. Ms. Angela Fernandez will be handling administrative activities. And then Mr. Matthew Ray will handle the construction end of it. So there are 3 individuals that will be handling this. And we've already started either bi-weekly or monthly meetings, progress meetings, to track the progress and give the county updates as to where the program stands and the next steps forward.
Okay. I thought I remembered that email. I just wanted to verify.
That's correct. That's correct.
So,
I will be retiring.
Yep. Well, appreciate what you've done for the county and especially for the Ansonville Burns one. I think are you working on some other grant or other block grants in other municipalities?
I have a number of communities that I work with in the Anson County area: Louisville, Morven, Ansonville, Anson County.
I thought so.
Yes.
So we appreciate what you've done in the entire county. So,
Thank you, and it's been a pleasure working with the board. Appreciate the opportunity. And thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yep. Any other comments or questions at this time? All right. Well, if not, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Not from Mr. Lester. I had one from Ms. Cannon.
Okay. Yeah, at this time, go ahead, Ms. Cannon. We have a question or comment for you.
Ms. Cannon, along with the grants, I was just curious: are you searching? I know you're searching for the grants. Are the department heads bringing any grant opportunities to you?
They have not as of
They
yet.
have not. Okay. Can you reach it?
But as soon as, well, I guess my first priority was, as being in the role that I was previously in, I kind of know with Mr. Sossman what are the stressors. So I'm trying to look to fulfill those first. But I'll be more than happy to meet with the departments.
I think Ms. Cannon will tell you that every time I have one come in to my desk, I'll send it to her.
He sends it to me.
And depending on what they are, I also send them to the town manager here in Wadesboro, as well as a couple as well. Probably one of the most active mayors we have is Angela Caraway up in Ansonville. So, matter of fact, she was meeting with me today with Spectrum folks about some potential Spectrum grants, and I think they are going to be meeting with some of SPC staff Thursday of this week, if I remember our meeting correctly. So we're going after every grant we can think of, and it's so far it's paying off.
Yeah, and I'm cool with that as long as they're being looked into. With the
They are.
Absolutely.
Even when we received a distressing email, I should say, which considered the building resiliency and community grants, and Mr. Lester probably knows about that because of Christina Danis over at Central Ina. Those were yanked out. We were dozed, if you will. But they have been resurrected into something now. educating Mr. Forbes on something called the Hazardous Mitigation Grant Program, HMGP. And the good news for us is that when I say resurrected, we're moving it from a less than $100,000 grant to a $3.5 million grant for flood control.
That's great news. Great to hear. So,
Mr. Chairman, just one question.
Yes,
Ms.
sir.
Cannon. First of all, thank you for the update. Look forward to the next one. You've got a long list of ideas and applications here. Really appreciate that. My question is regarding the old hospital property on Morven Road. Do you have any ideas or intent for the use of that property by way of grant funding?
Commissioner Gateway, I did see some grants that would help that site, but I'm not sure of the board in like totality. What do you all see as a vision for that site?
Well, I'll tell you what I see as a vision.
Okay.
Selling that property
Okay, yes, sir.
and bringing in upwards of $200,000 to the county, money that we sorely need. And I've been encouraging the board to consider that for the last 3 years, and that's still my plea.
Well, it's that, like if that's your pleasure and that's the board pleasure, you don't need a grant for that.
Well, I'm just one commissioner. Maybe
Yeah.
someone else has other ideas.
Yeah, you don't need a grant for that. I thought you wanted to do something on that site or develop that site.
yes, I just know the conversation we had with another grant source, I guess, was, again, some type of park, recreation facility, something like that, but budgetary items negate that. We can't do that at this time. So I just think that's a very valuable property that the county could use if we had a need for it in the short term. I don't know that we want to move on that immediately, but I'm just one opinion. So we can have that discussion, at a later date if need be. But
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
but I do think if you come across a grant that you think would fit well there, then by all means present it, and we'll see if that's something we can go after.
Okay, and then too, also, just to, with the grant funds, I'm looking for 100% grant funds, minimum 5% matches. I remember Mr. Woodburn, you said something about, with the county funds, we're gonna look for the minimum match as possible.
Yes,
So, I'm taking that into account as well.
Well, since you mentioned that, this Rural Community Development Initiative, that says 100% match, so, and that says 50 to 500,000, so.
Yeah, there's grants out there for, 40,000, 350,000, up to 500,000. 500,000 is about the most I've seen.
They require 100% match.
It's a 100% match.
That's the only reason it just jumped out at me when I'm thinking we need to pay real close attention to the matches because of our fund balance situation.
Yes.
I do my best to pay close attention.
I agree. We should look at, I don't think we should make that a limiting factor that we should automatically say no.
Right, I
But we
agree.
should explore those grants.
Yeah.
And we can, assess them and see what the value would be provided back to the
Right,
county.
I agree.
I do
agree.
try to stay away from the 50-50 matches, though. I do try to stay as far as away from those, but that's, if you got $500,000 match, I mean, off of that, it's pretty much for the county to pay.
Yeah, okay. Mr. Saltzman, you had something?
Actually, I'm glad you said that because we actually were very successful in our final application for $500,000 from the Department of Commerce's Building Reuse Program for the halal slaughterhouse up in Ansonville. And remember, that required what they call a tax grant, which we did, but it was nowhere else. It's probably going to equate over 3 years to somewhere around 10% or a little more of that process. But we have that time, and what we do is they are required to pay their taxes, which go into that black hole called the fund balance, and then we're able to turn that around and give them the grant from what they've actually paid in. But in any event, we'll receive more from it tax value wise than what we're putting into it.
That's the goal. Okay. Anything else for Ms. Cannon at this time? All right, again, thank you. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have Ms. Maureen Lett, our Animal Control Director.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I have I have a video for you guys to start off with.
All right.
If you guys are okay with that.
Yep.
Let's get real about the state of Anson County Animal Shelter and their partnership with Friends of Anson County, 501c3 nonprofit. The Anson County Animal Shelter brings in over 900 animals each year, including dogs and cats. These animals come in via animal control as strays, animal seizures, or as owner surrenders. One of our greatest successes is over the past 3 years we've had a live release rate of about 97 to 98%. This means 97 to 98% of our animals that enter the shelter leave the shelter alive. This is a shockingly high and successful rate for a rural county shelter that has an open intake requirement. This doesn't happen easily though, or even because of an overwhelming amount of community support. In fact, it happens in spite of that. There's a small number of people working themselves to the bone in order to save the animals in need in Anson County. To be honest, we lack community support and funding. We are currently overrun by irresponsible owners who refuse to fix their dogs while bringing in litter after litter of kittens and puppies. We see backyard breeders breeding their dogs for money and then dumping their puppies with us when they can't sell them or when they get sick. We see doodle breeders selling their puppies for thousands of dollars but utilizing our free vaccine and microchip clinics for their poorly maintained and cared for dogs. We see owners surrendering animal after animal, sometimes up to 7, 8, 9, or 10 at a time, that have not received any vet care during their entire lives and come in heartworm positive and with other expensive medical needs. To be clear, this county has high rates of abuse and neglect when it comes to animals. We see dogs living on chains that are the majority of their body weight, with no shade, shelter, food, or water. We see their bones protruding through their skin and their lacking fur. We see their sore wounds and their embedded collars regularly on welfare checks and during intake at the shelter. We treat their medical needs with the funds that we have, and unfortunately most of that does not come from the county. In fact, the majority of medical expenses are paid for by Friends of Anson County, as the county budget provided doesn't even come close to covering veterinary expenses. We work hard to support the community and to prevent people from surrendering their animals to their shelter. For example, just a few of the outreach opportunities that we provide are things like low cost or sometimes even free spay or neuter to community members. We provide free vaccine and microchip clinics regularly for the community. We have free community food banks for dogs and cats. And we welcome the community into our shelter for volunteering or to spend time with the animals. And we work to educate the younger population on proper animal welfare by welcoming in summer camps and classes of students. We host events at our shelter such as open houses, adoption events on and off-site, and have a large following and presence on social media. We work 24/7 to network our animals to find them safe and committed homes or rescues. Only 12% of our animals are adopted directly from the shelter, while over 80% of them go to rescue partners locally and nationally. Our Friends of Anson County volunteers work to network these animals and to transport them hours upon hours to safety. Our small staff and volunteers are doing their part in saving and maintaining the well-being of animals in Anson County, but we're doing it alone. Anson County Animal Shelter needs more funding and more support. Over the past few years, we have spayed and neutered over 2,000 animals in the community and those that have come through our shelter, all at a low or free option. And this is fully funded by Friends of Anson County, not the county itself. Our vaccine and microchip clinics always have lines all the way down the street. And similarly, we've vaccinated over 2,000 animals over the past few years for those who live in our community. We've done over 200 microchips for community animals as well, also fully funded by Friends of Anson County. The food that our cats and dogs eat day in and day out at the shelter is paid for fully by Friends of Anson County. As you can see, without Friends of Anson County and the few people working tirelessly behind it to fundraise and to write grants, the county would not be able to maintain the animal shelter as it currently is. And again, to be clear, this would result in animals dying. good, loving, deserving animals. It's time that the county put more effort into the welfare of animals within its borders. It is 2025 and there is no excuse. We ask that the county provide more funds towards staff salaries. We lose staff opportunities before they even enter the building due to our extremely low pay. We see nearby counties that border us doubling the pay that our staff is making, and we can't compete. We ask for more funding towards medical care and general care like feeding the animals in our shelter. It really is a bare minimum. We ask the county to update their animal welfare legislation and laws to make it clear that you care about the animals that live in this county and that you don't want to see them dying on chains in your neighbors' yards. We ask for domestic pets like dogs and cats to be required to be registered with the county. We ask for more regulations around the quantity of animals that can be owned and in the breeding of them. We ask for breeders to need a permit, and we ask for improved outdoor dog living standards, such as temperature maximums and minimums, required shelter options, and a chain-free counting. There's no reason why a 40-pound dog should have a 30-pound chain around its neck in any circumstance. Right now, we have a small group of people standing up and doing the work of a county, but it's time that the county does the work too. We're willing and more than motivated to partner with you. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions about the video?
No, I don't. Any questions?
So I also brought a handout. I know we've been having problems with animal control services, the town of Waitsboro, the county in general. There's a second page that Lieutenant Jamie Griggs, he's over animal control in the animal shelter in Union County. I asked him what his animal control officers go out for, and they do not go out for a whole lot of things. They do not set dog traps. They do not set cat traps. Their citizens are allowed to come to the shelter and get a trap. They have it for 7 days. They trap the animal. If they get a dog, animal control goes out and picks the dog up. They get a cat. They bring the cat back to the shelter. They do not have a leash law, the same as us here in Anson County. So it's not required to go out and pick up stray animals like that unless they're a nuisance and considered vicious. So that's what they go out for. They also have 16 officers. They run an AB shift and a CD shift. They start at 5 a.m. and they go up to 7 p.m. They do not take any calls after 7 p.m. unless it's somebody that's attacked by a dog. And their example is a child severely bitten in the face and transported to Levine Hospital in Charlotte. Everything else waits until the next day. Right now, it's not feasible to provide adequate animal control in Anson County with one animal control officer. Because if we set a trap up in Burnsville and we have to go all the way to Morven and it's 95 degrees out there, by the time one person drives from Burnsville to Morven on a call, that dog could go in that trap, and by the time he gets back to check on that trap, that dog could be deceased. So, I mean, it's not feasible with the amount of calls that we get and the expectations that have been placed in this county over the last several years to realistically run with one animal control officer. The starting animal control officer in Union County walks in the door making $64,000 a year. That's green animal control officer. I had the lieutenant and one of the animal control officers from Chesterfield make a surprise visit at the shelter this week. He asked what our budget was, and I told him what our budget was. He said Chesterfield County for their animal shelter is twice what our budget is, although their animal control officers do run under the sheriff's department. They have 2 officers down there, and they do litter and animal control. I know that's been brought up in the past about litter here in the county. So, I mean, if that's a feasible option that they do litter and animal control, maybe that's something we need to look at. They have a dual purpose doing litter and animal control. I wanted to talk about, number one, what we're going to do with the town of Wadesboro. I'm still receiving calls from Wadesboro Police Department about animal control issues in the city limits. The reason we were shut down the other week is because of a criminal case in Wadesboro. 2 people were taken to jail. I'm not sure if they're still there. They were under $100,000 bond, each of them. DA, I presented some paperwork for the DA, so they went for a bond hearing, I think Monday, and they wanted to reduce their bond. I submitted a bunch of paperwork and told them it was against my better judgment for them to reduce their bond, and I submitted probably 50 photographs, current weights when we intook the animals, present weights now that we've had the animals. You know, one of the dogs was featured in that video. She's missing part of her face. Yeah. So, I mean, I think there's a lot more that goes on at the animal shelter than what people realize. We have 4 pending court cases right now for neglect and abuse here in Anson County. One with the sheriff's office on Mayflower Road, one with the town of Wadesboro, and then 2 separate ones that we filed ourselves. So we're trying to make a big difference, but with lack of staff, it's kind of hard. I did want to talk about, I know the town of Wadesboro has their own ordinances on the book, but one of their ordinances I've always liked, and that was to make everybody in the county register their pets. So we know exactly what's going on here with pets in Anson County. We can do it with microchips. We don't have to issue a tag. We can set up scanning stations, one in Burnsville, one in Morven, different places throughout the county. If somebody's coming from the beach, they pick up a dog, you know, instead of calling 911, you know, you can take the dog to a scanning station. Dog has a chip, it belongs to Mr. Caudle. You give Mr. Caudle a call and say, hey, Mr. Caudle, I have Fluffy. I found her on the side of the road, and you get Fluffy back. We aren't, you know, we don't have to call animal control or 911 to say, hey, we found a dog on Saturday or Sunday or at 10 o'clock on Friday night. We charge a yearly fee, whether it's $1 a pet, whether it's $5 a pet, whether you want to do $500 a pet for people that breed animals. I mean, make it feasible for the county to recoup some of the loss. There is a software program. It's called BarkPass. It's $2,900 a year plus a $1,000 setup fee. It would go directly to people registering their pets. They would get a renewal notice every year. They would pay it. And if somebody picks up a dog, the microchip would go back to those people. And then we would know that, number one, they're microchipped. Number two, they've also been vaccinated for rabies. That's another big problem we have. People aren't keeping up their rabies vaccines. You know, if a dog has a microchip, the dog's been at least vaccinated for rabies one time. Another problem we seem to be having, that was touched on in the video, a fee for habitual offenders surrendering pets. I know I talked to county manager last week. We had a gentleman wanting to turn in 7 more dogs. We still have 3 of his previous dogs. So, you know, it's a problem with repeat offenders constantly turning animals in. And we give options for low-cost spay-neuter. You know, if you fix your pets, then you aren't continuously turning 30, 40, 50 puppies into us. I mean, the county's eating the cost of people not spaying and neutering their pets. And then the third thing would be citations for unlicensed pets and nuisance pets at large. So if Fluffy keeps getting loose and we keep picking up Fluffy and we scan Fluffy, you know, then after so many times, Fluffy would get a ticket for Fluffy being loose. I think that's it. Does anybody have any questions?
Ms. Ladd, I do have a
Yes,
question.
sir.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned the starting salary for an animal control officer in Union County is
Yes.
$64,000.
Correct.
Do you know what it is in
Montgomery County?
Chesterfield County.
I think theirs is like 30. I think it's 37. Montgomery's like 40, 41, 42.
And what is ours?
It's $19.11 an hour, whatever that equals up to be.
Okay, about 33. And right now, how are you staffed? Yourself, I know last
There-
time you were here,
Yeah.
I asked you how many hours do you put in a week, and you said around 65,
Sometimes more.
and sometimes more.
Yeah.
And I said, you almost put in as many hours as Ms. Lula Jackson, our DSS director.
Lula and I are neck and neck, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have an animal control officer, full-time
I
person
do
now?
not.
You
I
do
have.
not.
There's 2 full-time and 2 part-time staff right now.
Okay.
And I would like for everybody to come out and spend a day at the animal shelter. I mean, it's not, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not an easy job. I mean, you see the videos of the animals we get. It's kind of like working for EMS. I mean, you go out in the sheriff's office, you go out and you see some pretty bad things. And we get a lot of bad animals coming into the shelter. It's not an easy job. And who in their right mind signs up to go to work every day with the possibility of being attacked by a dog or a cat? I mean, not very many sane people. Sane people do that and enjoy doing it. So, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, just, I guess the ordinances here,
Yes, sir.
this is what you're recommending that we consider putting
Yeah.
in place?
Yeah, start making people starting to license their pets. So I'll be the first to admit, I'm a dog hoarder. I have 11 dogs in my house. So all 11 of my dogs would have to be registered. I would have to pay a registration fee. All my dogs are fixed. All my dogs are up to date on their vaccines. All my dogs are microchipped. You wouldn't know that I had 11 dogs at my house, but I have all the shelter rejects that I couldn't find places to go, so they end up at my house. Yeah.
How do you propose how do you propose billing and them registering? Do they go to the animal shelter to register that?
So we could do it at so we could do it, my thinking is, we would set up like in Morven at the fire department. We could do a drive-through microchip clinic, like at the fire department, or Ansonville at the fire department, something like drive-through like we do at the shelter. And then we would have all their information. We would have, because we have to use it to register the microchip anyway. So we would register the microchip, have all their information. We put it into BarkPass. BarkPass sends them a bill to register their pet. Yeah.
Don't pay that bill.
Well, we could do the first one up front when we do the microchip. So instead of us doing free microchips, which the microchip cost to me is $5. That's my cost. It's lifetime registration. You never have to pay another fee. So we could do, if we're going to do a $20 registration per year or $5, they would pay $5 for the microchip and $5 for the registration. Yeah. And then if we pick up pets, you know, that aren't registered, then most people, to get their dogs back, I mean, no one's coming to look for dogs anyway, for the most part, but most people, you know, if they come to look for their pet, they have to have proof that they own the pet, whether it's vet records or a photo or something like that. So, yeah. Yeah.
Could you get with, where you could get the information from other counties or whatever,
Yes, sir.
and just kind of have some numbers, like what the fee would be for habitual offenders and
Yeah, I sure can.
citations for unlicensed pets and that type of thing? And I think the first one's got the cost there, so if we
Yes.
could put something together, we have something to look at in the future to just kind of see what makes sense to consider putting in place.
Yeah, and I know you guys had talked about a fee. I know Commissioner Mims had said something about, you know, different municipalities paying like $3, $5, whatever it is. I didn't know if you saw, like, the city of Monroe pays $24,000 a year to Union County for animal control services.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's something that we need to, as a board, decide on what we're gonna charge per, citizen here in the county.
Yeah.
For the municipalities, so that we can come up and implement this in an ordinance.
But
Yeah.
what they're paying for is basically to house those pets. That's
Correct.
not paying for an animal control officer.
No, they have their own. City of Monroe has their
Right.
own animal control officer. Yeah. Yeah, I think Stallings has their own animal control. There's several places in Union County that have their own animal control officers. That's $24,000 just to house.
Just to
pets.
house them, yes.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's not doing any of the legwork, going out there to pick up animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just housing animals there at their shelter. Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Go
So
ahead.
your challenge is not really with the shelter as much as it is with the animal control aspect, is what I'm getting.
Is my what now?
Your
I'm sorry.
challenge with y'all. It appears that the shelter is operating pretty.
Yeah, it's
fluid.
it. Yes and no.
I mean, it's a very high survival rate if a dog get trapped and end up at the shelter.
It is.
That's-
98%.
Right,
So,
so-
when I took over, we had a 2% survival rate.
Right.
And then after the first year, I think we euthanized 30 some percent, and then we went to 17%. We've dropped every year since.
So roughly about how many
We euthanized
dogs
12. We euthanized 12 animals last year. This year, from January 1st until now, I do have a dog scheduled to be euthanized on Friday. So we will have euthanized 4 animals this year.
4 in about 7 months? Huh?
Yes.
Out of how many animals do you take in? Do you know?
I think we've taken in a little over 500 so far this year.
And what is the process of
Intake?
I don't want to sound like I'm propagating
No.
what we would consider animal cruelty, but
Yeah.
if we've received about 500 up to this point,
Correct.
so 496 of them have either got a home
We have-
or they're
right,
still there.
Still here. We have 58 at the shelter right now. Yeah.
And how much does it? Well, I guess the Friends of Anson, they help with
They do.
keeping
They-
them up,
Yeah,
feeding
they-
them and all of that.
Yeah.
That is great. That's great.
Yeah, we work a lot with rescues. Like
What is the process to get to euthanization?
severe medical, I euthanize for severe medical. A dog comes in, and usually, I provide vet care. Like, they're seen by a veterinarian before, I make that decision. Like a broken back, severe aggression towards humans. I mean, that's not something that's adoptable that we can put out back into the public. And that the dog that we're going to euthanize Friday, I mean, she didn't come in with the best sunny disposition, and she's declined in the last 3 weeks that we've, tried to work with her and stuff like that. So unfortunately,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, my concern with it is, I think what you're presenting sounds sensible with, getting dogs chipped and registered and all that. I guess my concern is those that have issues with keeping up with their own dogs, they're probably still not gonna take advantage of it, and I don't know if that would eliminate the problem.
Maybe not. Although I've had some luck with people, that we've gone out and tried to reason with them and educate them and things like that. There's a case in Morven. I helped the lady. She didn't have dog houses. We talked to her. She's turned in 14 puppies to us, and I finally told her. I said, we're not gonna keep taking puppies until you have the moms fixed. You have the moms fixed, we take all the puppies. I will help find financing to help offset some of the costs for you to have your dogs fixed, but we need to get to the root of the problem. And she got on board with us. She had them both females fixed. She ordered dog houses because she didn't have suitable housing for them. And I'm not against I know I'm going to get backlash for this. I'm not against people keeping dogs outside. Not all dogs are meant to live inside. But dogs need to have houses. Dogs need to have, proper shade, proper movement. I mean, they don't need 40-pound log chains. I mean, they can have a cable with tethers on either end to get around. I mean, I'm not against dogs living outside as long as they're being cared for. So.
Well, I think if you could get us some numbers on kind of what you propose from surrounding counties on the fee for the habitual offenders and, what a citation might look like, I think that's something we can look into.
And I mean, we can even do a simple citation. Like right now, we have citations that we write, like for people not having their rabies up to date, and that is $25. It starts at $25, it goes to $50, and then it goes up to $100. And the fourth offense is we take the animal. Yeah.
Did I hear you say that Wadesboro already has this ordinance in place?
So in Wadesboro, the town of Wadesboro ordinances that are on their books, their number one ordinance is all pets are supposed to be registered in the city limits of Wadesboro at the town hall.
Okay.
Yeah. If you go back and revisit their town ordinances. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's smart. I think it's smart, you know, to make people register their pets. I'll be more than happy to register all 11 of mine, pay the fees, you know, do everything like that, keep it up every year.
We just need more pet owners like you.
There are some pet owners here like that, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Ms. Lett,
Okay.
Yes,
you've
sir.
covered a lot of territory, and you've identified a number of issues, but what are the two basic needs that you have at the animal shelter?
We need more I have volunteers that come. My volunteers that come drive over an hour to get here to help volunteer at the shelter. We could use more community support. You know, we partner with the schools. We do outreach. We partner with 4-H, things like that. We're supposed to give a talk the 31st at Grace Senior Center, and that's we do.
So one is more volunteers.
More community support, more people to get on board with the animal shelter, yes.
All right. What would be number two?
We need another animal control officer. We need 2 animal control officers. It's not feasible to run this county with 1 animal control officer. It is not.
Are we currently advertising for a second animal control officer?
I do not believe so, no, sir.
I think I know why.
We are advertising for 1, correct?
I'm honestly not sure about that.
I think we're supposed to be advertising.
I thought that was correct, too. Okay.
So if we feel that need, you've got 2, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lett. All right, next up we have Mr. Nick Addison again, County Surplus Disposal.
Okay. Back again, you can't get rid of me. So, Clerk Adams had asked me to give a brief overview of some statutes and procedures on property disposal. I'd mentioned a procedure and statute that we weren't utilized before in previous conversations with her and some department heads. One in particular that we could utilize is donations to nonprofits. Right now, our basement is pretty full of obsolete, unused, surplus technology, whether it be old printers, old laptops, old keyboards, mouses, all this obsolete stuff that really has no value. And so she just asked me to come and speak briefly on that. So should there ever be a point in time where the commissioners feel like we could donate that material to a nonprofit or even to another government entity, whether it be a city, a county, tribe, anything of that nature, there are procedures that we can follow to get rid of that material fairly quickly. It's a very simple process. We would draft a resolution and identify what material we would donate. That a resolution has to be posted for 5 days prior to its donation, and then at the commissioner's pleasure, that resolution could be adopted. Now, about 4, maybe 6 weeks ago, Dwayne McCoy, our IT director, and I had a conversation with Ashley Smith. She's the director of operations at E2D. It's a nonprofit in Davidson, North Carolina, so probably 40 minutes north of Charlotte, I believe, or maybe an hour. They're a nonprofit that takes these types of materials, older technology, or I'm sure they'll take new technology as well, but they take that technology, they work with schools and youth and in-house staff. They wipe all the data off, refurbish the equipment, restore it, whatever's needed to fix it, and then they give that away, or for very low cost, get it to families and persons in need who maybe don't have that equipment. So we did reach out to them. They said they would be willing to take anything we could give them. We would just need to adopt the resolution, and they said they would back the truck up and load it the next day. According to IT Director Mr. McCoy, right now he's looking at providing them with materials that really has no value. I think right now at the moment he's looking to potentially provide them with printers and a few other like older cell phones. His intent right now is still to route laptops, desktops, monitors, that sort of equipment through GovDeals. But like I said, Clerk Adams just came and asked me to present that as an option to the commissioners. Is there any questions on that procedure, or what's your pleasure? Would you like to see us go that route to kind of expedite some of the basement cleanup?
I think we should move forward with some type of resolution that we set, I think we should have some parameters that we try to sell on GovDeals of items of value, but if we are unsuccessful, then we can move forward donating to some nonprofit somewhere just to get it out of our hands.
But I thought that was the process we had to do. We had to offer the GovDeals. If we couldn't sell it, then it came back to the county manager to get rid of it.
You don't have to go through GovDeals. 168-280 says that we can use this process to get rid of it. It just has to be the resolution posted for 5 days prior to adoption. The issue with GovDeals, depending on how you look at it, is the staff time investment you make to GovDeals. You're almost running like an eBay page. You got to do your write-ups, post it for 30 days. Whereas this process, we could be done in 6 days, and then they would come loaded up.
So do you think it would be beneficial to put a dollar limit on anything under, just say, $100 value? What we would add, because I'm assuming, I don't know how GovDeals works. I'm assuming on GovDeals we put a value on it.
Clerk Adams, I believe we set the starting bid. Is that correct? And then they bid up from there. I'm fairly certain that's how it's done. It's almost like an eBay page. So you don't really know where it's going to end. But I think if you look at some of our past sales, I think we had a batch of printers that sold last month for, I think it was 10 printers sold for $20.
I don't think it's very good use of our county staff selling printers for $20.
Yeah. So I was just presenting this as a new option. So if you want to set a dollar limit and give, I guess, Director McCoy guidance as to what should be.
But you all feel that the majority of these items are not going to bring any value?
I don't believe he's. Okay. I would defer to him, but I think history kind of indicates most of them don't bring substantial value, especially when you account the staff time that goes into, again, essentially running an eBay page.
So we would have to, I guess, make an agreement to go with the resolution on that aspect. That's what.
If that's your pleasure, I mean, it would be a much more expedited process.
I'm willing to make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Just so, and I believe Director McCoy is in his office, just so I can work with him on this. Is it your pleasure to do everything?
That's what I was going to ask before we make a motion.
Well, I mean, from what you said to us in the basement, these are old computers, old printers, things that don't really carry any substantial value. So, for the sake of it, it's pretty much, if it's in the basement, evidently we don't want it, we can't use it.
It's
and
old, obsolete,
I don't think
surplus.
nobody else can by this time.
My question is, do we have to do a resolution every time, or can we do one resolution?
We could do. I would prefer if we just do large batches.
Yeah.
The one thing that we would have to invest in is staff time to itemize what we will be donating, because that'll need to go into the resolution. So that will be the staff time investment, but it would be significantly less than the GovDeals time invested.
Okay.
Yes, I don't think it can be a blanket resolution from here indefinitely. I think you have to have their.
Yeah, you would have to do it every time you would want to make a donation. So if we just wanted to tackle it in batches, we could.
Yeah.
Well, we're already doing that, I assume, when we do
We're
a
already
gov deal,
doing that in
we
gov
deem
deals.
it
It's
surplus.
just a slower process.
That was the assumption I was under.
Yes.
He's correct. You can't do just a blanket resolution. You would just gather
Yes.
some stuff up, say, we have identified that as surplus.
Okay.
Yep.
That way you can have some type of identification. of it.
Similar to how we do gov deals.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a note, but it slipped my mind.
And essentially, everything's got some type of identification number on it, serial number or whatever, so he could do that, and that's what we do now. So it's just
And I will
a simpler version of the same process.
Yes, and when we spoke with E2D, one thing that's, and I don't want to speak for IT, but I think we know there's a 3-man department. It's a time burden to physically or data wipe all the data on those machines. E2D does have a process where they will wipe the data and provide a certificate of data destruction. But I'll defer to Director McCoy on how that's handled, which, with the exception of a few departments, maybe Sheriff's Office, Health Department, most public records, even if they got into our system, because they would still be locked when they got it, it's public record. So maybe we would, if we went that route, maybe wipe the Sheriff's and Health Department stuff in-house before we send it.
Okay.
But the rest they could wipe in-house. They could, but
Okay.
just wanted to present that as a new option.
Now, would that motion have to include the particular company or whoever you just
No,
named?
right
Or
now
they,
we
you,
were
you
just-
all can make that decision.
Yeah, we were just presenting it as a new idea, just kind of
Okay.
asking your blessing before we proceed
Yeah.
and get too far down the road and
So
you
my
say no.
motions.
Okay.
It's
So we
there.
have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Ellerby to proceed with a resolution that would allow us to basically donate or give the surplus property to a nonprofit.
Yeah, okay, we'll develop that.
And we have a second by Commissioner Little Reed.
I think that probably needs to be IT equipment, because, you know, we've got other pieces of surplus equipment as well. And that's how we got into
Well-
gov deals, was with Sheriff's Department vehicles. That's where the
We're
gov
just
deals
giving him permission to draft the resolution. We'll still come back and approve that
That's
resolution
correct.
once
Yeah.
you have identified whatever equipment
Yeah,
will be on
yeah.
it.
And I will say with this statute, we can donate anything. It doesn't. I just can't find anybody to take a 3-legged table. So
Right, I
if you know
understand,
them,
yeah.
Tell them to call me. But
Yeah.
you know, if or maybe if one of the sister counties or cities, you know, wants a 3-legged
Right.
table, they know where to find me.
All right. So yeah, so we're not giving it away tonight.
Right,
We're just
right.
giving him the
Yeah.
permission to draft the resolution, and
Exactly.
we'll approve it. So, okay. Any other discussion on that?
Just so Dwayne and I have, I guess, kind of guidance. Is there any sort of dollar threshold you guys kind of envision for what should go on gov deals,
He's
or just
probably-
use best judgment?
He's probably better qualified to set a
Yeah,
dollar
I would-
figure, and we
Just
can
want to
approve
make
it.
sure.
I think that would be left up to you or the manager, the department head, to know what the
Right.
expected value is versus how much time you're going to have in it managing gov deals.
Sounds great.
So,
Okay.
all right. Any other discussion on the surplus resolution? All right. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Thank
And
you.
I've got 3-legged chairs to go with those tables, by the way.
That would be a matching set. So- All right. So moving on to our next appearance, we have Miss Lula Jackson, our DSS director.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am here to make a request for DSS positions. The Department of Social Services had 6 vacant positions as of June 1st. For the 25-26 budget, those 6 positions were deleted from the budget. During that time, were advertising for or had applicants for a processing assistant, and also applicants for the income maintenance caseworker 2 position. The income maintenance caseworker 2 position is still being advertised. My request here tonight is to have monies allocated for the salaries budget for DSS to advertise for and fill 4 of the 6 positions. One of the positions is the processing assistant 4 position. This position is essential as it serves as a security officer and is our point of contact with the state for access to all state programs and ensures all access is secure. This position also provides backup for the administrative officer and for the front desk. We have a newly appointed administrative officer that is currently doing her administrative duties, and the duties of the security officer. The income maintenance positions are essential to help get benefits to customers in a timely manner, help in meeting performance measures, decrease internal errors, and prevent a backlog of applications and recertifications. This would be in the Food and Nutrition Services and Medicaid departments. Currently, 27% of the residents of Anson County are receiving food and nutrition benefits, and 45% of the participants that receive, 45% of the population receives Medicaid or medical assistance through Department of Social Services. The income maintenance investigator position is essential in that it decreases fraud, helps in the recovery of program funds that have been obtained fraudulently. So it puts money back for any other programs that have received benefits that they should not have. These positions are considered essential for Department of Social Services to maintain benefits again to the customers, to prevent overpayments that the county may be responsible for because of errors due to high caseloads. So that is my reason for being here, to request that those positions be placed back into the budget. So if there are any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Jackson at this
How
time?
many positions are there total? 4?
Total of 4 positions.
4 out of the 6 that was originally.
Yes.
And the money, there's currently no money there for those positions.
Currently, there is no money there for those positions. We'll add that the, currently, the Medicaid positions are reimbursed at a 75% rate.
Right.
F&S positions are reimbursed at a 50% rate.
So out of the 4, 2 of them will receive a reimbursement of 70. Is it 70?
75%.
And then the
One
other
would
2 will be.
receive- One would receive 50%. The administrative officer, the processing assistant position normally receives anywhere from 35 to 40% reimbursement.
Do you know if, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, what is the, I guess, the annual salary of those? 2 of the, I mean, I guess I will know the numbers we're dealing with.
The annual salaries would include the fringe benefits, so that's anywhere from 51,000 to 63,000, depending on the qualifications of the person.
That's
for
all.
the income maintenance positions and the income maintenance 2 position and the income maintenance investigator position. The processing assistant position, total cost would be anywhere from 45 to 50.
Right. So of the 45 to 50,000, technically, is that the one that's 50%?
That's the one that's about 35%.
About 35% reimbursement.
Because it's an administrative position and not a program-specific
Okay.
position.
You said 55 to 63 is the 30 to
Between, with the income maintenance caseworker
51
and the
to
income maintenance investigator position.
That's the 51 to 63 was 35 to 40% reimbursement.
That would be a 75% reimbursement.
So I don't, I may be speaking out of turn here, but the federal bill, the spending bill that just passed,
The big beautiful bill.
the big beautiful bill.
Yes, sir.
From what I've read briefly, there's going to be some changes, possibly
Yes, sir.
some Medicaid cuts.
Yes.
Is that going to affect the refunded positions here? You're talking about 35, 50%, 70%?
That will definitely impact, and that will possibly begin, can't definitely say, but projected to be 27, 28 when they reduce the amount of reimbursement.
So starting
And
in
the
year
reduction-
27?
Right,
Okay.
and the reduction in that benefit will be based on the error rate that the county, that the state would have at that time.
Okay.
Ms. Jackson, I understand the need, I support your recommendation, but I don't want to spend money we don't have, so I want to hear from the finance officer or the county manager on whether we can afford this.
I know, I can read the question, so I understood, I've been expecting it, and it would have to come out of fund balance. if you looked at her presentation, her financial impact was $258,595, but based on those reimbursement criteria, it would reduce that to $128,300, if you will, round figures. We'd have to take that out of fund balance. It's the only place you got.
And is that your recommendation?
If you approve it, yes. I mean, I would have no other option.
And how much do we have in fund balance in total, Mr. Sussman?
It's probably, I'm gonna speculate right now because we just finished up the fiscal year. It's probably gonna be somewhere around, I guess, maybe, if we're lucky, $10 million.
$10 million.
I think so, if we're lucky.
Well, we certainly can afford 4 additional DSS employees.
It sounds like these are positions that they have to have. And
I just want to caution the commissioners that we did sign a an agreement with the LGC. We're still under the unit assistance list. We're on that list.
Yeah.
And part of that was that we would hold expenditures, staffing. That's why there was the discussion of a hiring freeze at one point. And I do want to caution, once we hire these 4 employees now, who's on the hook in 27 or 28 when the federal government's no longer reimbursing these positions? Who's going to pay them 100% of their salary? And that's going to be on this county to pay that. So I'm not saying that I'm not in favor of it. I just want to make everybody aware that there could be some changes coming to that department, and I just want to make sure we know.
There will definitely be changes that are coming to the Department of Social Services, and even with those changes, there's no guarantee as to whether or not we'll even have staff when those changes come.
That's right.
Because with those changes will be increased workload. Of course, people will be going off benefits, but the requirements to maintain and continue those benefits will increase.
And that was the same issue. That was the same issue when we hired, I think it was 5 additional staffers when the Medicaid expansion hit North Carolina. We expanded our staff because the state was paying us, but now that they're not getting refunded from the federal government, who's going to pay those 5 employees that we just hired? That's going to be on the county budget, going to be coming out of the general fund.
That triple B, as Ms. Jackson said, the big beautiful bill, whatever. I've talked to a number of managers. I know she's talked to a number of DSS directors around the state, and all of them are concerned right now.
Okay.
I mean, I even looked at the city of Winston-Salem. They have a transit system, and I have understood from their manager and deputy manager that I've talked to within the last 3 weeks that they're probably going to lose something on the order of 25 to 30% of their budget, because that came directly from the federal government. There were programs like DSS, housing that we don't have. Wadesboro's got, the town of Wadesboro has a housing authority, if you will, or housing department as its proper name. But places like that are going to be hit even worse than we are, even though we're hit bad, because she talks about the amount of people that are on some type of assistance. I mean, it's not just Medicaid, Medicare, but also SNAP. Could be history. And the fuel program that she supplies a lot to, she's been out of that money on and off for the last couple of years.
That's correct.
In dribbles and drabs, but and I understand the need. I do. I mean, my problem with adopting this past budget was you can't stretch a dollar but so far.
Sure.
And she and I have talked about it, and I said the only way to do it would be get the board to do a budget amendment to approve these positions. And as Commissioner Gatewood asked, where would the money come from? General fund balance.
That's correct. We're less than, 2 weeks into a new budget, and we're already talking about making budget amendments for things that we just cut out 2 weeks ago.
I got a comment. Every time, wait a minute, I'm talking. Wait, I finished. I said I want to comment. Every time, this ain't nothing personal to anybody out there in YouTube. Every time the sheriff needs somebody, and I know we need protection, they get their money and it comes out of fund balance. So why is it every time Miss Lula come here wanting something, there's an issue?
I look at every issue that they come to the podium with. I analyze it and see how much it's going to cost us.
Okay, but if the sheriff come back next week and say, we need money for this right here, this ain't personal, what you gonna do? You gonna tell them the fund balance is low and we can't get it?
I'm going to analyze it and see what the benefit of the citizens will be.
Give it to them. That's the difference. You're gonna give it to them. You're gonna analyze it, but you're still gonna find a way to give it to them.
And I'm not telling Ms. Jackson no. I will see if we can find a way to find it. I have a hard time spending $128,000 knowing there's going to be changes coming in 2 years, knowing we don't have the money in the budget to pay for it now, knowing we're on the unit assistance list that we've already been reprimanded for spending money we don't have. That's my problem with it.
It was included in the budget, but they took it from her.
No, the budget was approved without it.
Without it, yeah.
Everyone voted on that budget 2 weeks ago, knowing those
but
were not put in there.
That was before. Ms. Lula, was this not already included in the budget one time?
It was
and
in
they
the
took
budget
it out?
prior to the 25-26 budget, but it's not in the 25-26 budget.
You just said it was in 25 and 26.
It was in the 24-25 budget, but
Okay,
it's not in the
correct.
25-26
Okay,
budget.
then.
Which was
But
just
I'm just
approved
saying,
2
the
weeks
next
ago.
time the police,
Are you saying
the sheriff.
was it proposed and then that was cut?
The
Because we don't
the
always see your
position-
direct
the
proposal.
positions were cut
Right.
from any position that was vacant June 1st in any department was cut. And I think the awareness of that for the departments did not come until after the cut happened.
So that's my reason
So
for my
that
question.
there
actually.
possibly could have been some discussion prior to the cut that is there something else we can do opposed to cutting this position? Can we make a cut somewhere else within the budget that would not have as much of an impact versus cutting positions? And I understand the hesitation and the pause. I understand with the big, beautiful bill and the implications that it will have. With the uncertainty of that, then we need to be doing all we can now to maintain the citizens that we do have that are receiving the benefits. When Medicaid is cut, if SNAP is cut or even demolished or terminated, that would be a major impact on Anson County. Even with a SNAP cut, I don't know that even Food Line could survive in Anson County. IGA probably would not, even with all of the Dollar Generals that we have. It would be a major impact if those programs were cut. I am concerned that a cut to Medicaid may even impact our local health facilities, which at this time are limited.
I agree. I think the cuts are going to force us to make some unwanted but necessary changes to our operations, and that's why I'm trying to be diligent and not overextend now, knowing those cuts could be coming.
And with the income maintenance caseworker positions, Ms. Broadway and Ms. Martin could probably both attest, we have such a high turnover in those positions. So by the time 27, 28 rolls around, we will probably have another 4 vacancies.
Now, at the current moment, you have people, I'm assuming, in dual role from what I've heard you
Yes.
say. So we have individuals that are pretty much doing 2 different jobs. And yes. And I think now, I guess, piggyback off what you're saying, my calculation, if I took the highest number, 63,000, 75% of that is roughly about 47, a little over 47,000. So this could be roughly about $15,000 to the
As far as
county.
county
I mean,
costs.
15,000. So, I mean, not talking about a grave amount of money, but this is under the assumption that the cuts are made where, and now this is the state reimburses these, or is that federal or state, which I don't.
It's a combination, but
Combination
primarily
of that.
federal reimbursement.
Right. But until we see those cuts, this is where you all are, and you're in dire need. Now, I'm with Commissioner Gatewood. I support it by all means, in the same way that I support public safety. All right. We made some changes there not long ago, and I'm full support of it because that's an area that we need some attention to at this particular time. And so I'm willing to support it. I mean, if
Excuse
we
me,
have
you
the
know,
ability.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to make sure we can afford it.
Right,
We really
right.
don't know what's in the fund balance.
Is our finance director here?
She's not here today. She's on FMLA because
Oh, okay.
she has health issues, as does most of her family.
Oh, okay.
We've got several other people are on it. My only caution is this is $128,000. Miss Jackson did a big favor. It's in her cover sheet. And can you afford it today? I'm gonna say you can afford it. You also heard Miss Lett a while ago talking about what she's gonna come back and ask you for sometime in the near future. I had another department head today who should remain nameless because he or she probably don't want to be, but they're asking, can they have they've got like a 2-member department, and you can figure out maybe that they're operating something. So we got a lot of needs, and I understand we do. I mean, we need a lot of people. I mean, I had the unmitigated audacity to have to cut out all those positions that were asked for, also cut out all capital and all training, which was not a pretty thing. It was like a hatchet budget. I can't say it's a maintenance budget because it doesn't maintain anything. Last year's budget was a maintenance budget. This year's budget was a dramatic reduction. It wasn't a big, beautiful bill. It was just out of it.
Simply because our fund balance has decreased year after year after year.
Unfortunately, it's because our fund balance has decreased, and the reason it decreases, I'm not even gonna say the words economic development because somebody thinks I'm picking on them. I want to say there's no growth in the tax base, and you can have your conclusion what you like, but we've actually lost tax base because of that fact.
Yeah.
And that's what impacts your ability to grow a budget, because the budget has been diminishing by leaps and bounds.
Well, my question is, being on the unit assistant list and what we done signed and what we wasn't gonna do, if we go back and do something different, what is that gonna happen to us with being on that list?
We submitted, right after you adopted this budget that we're into now, we submitted it to the local government commission. And Commissioner Gatewood asked me earlier, had we heard back from that final budget? No. We didn't even hear what we submitted to them, which was the preliminary budget which they requested, which was at that time, it was close to being balanced. But the reason I have to cut that is by state law, by a certain date and time in every fiscal year, I have to give you a balanced budget, and you have to adopt a balanced budget. Now, I could bring you back one that's totally unbalanced and say, here, we need another $5 million. You decide here in front of God and everybody where you're gonna cut.
Well, but getting back
But
to
I didn't do that.
Getting
That would
back
be
to what you
foolish.
said, we had $10 million. From the information we talked about before, we didn't have $10 million. So where's this $10 million coming back from?
Yeah, that's what it's
Like I
Yeah, it
said,
was 6, right?
Yeah,
So
it was 6 million.
I mean, before, right? We heard it was 6.
Yeah.
So you saying 10?
No, before, I think what we were looking at was taking another $6 million out of that, and we were asked by a couple of different commissioners to reduce it by anywhere from $3.5 to $5 million. We actually reduced it by about $3.5 million, which got rid of employees. He got rid of all the capital projects as well as training, and a lot. And I know Miss Jackson has got training needs for keep her people certified. Other departments do too. So we cut it. I'm hoping we have $10 million. We may not. It may only be $8.5 million.
Then why wouldn't we wait until we see what we got before we make a decision?
That is your prerogative.
I'm just,
Yes.
on my end. I mean, because if we don't know, we're gonna make a decision on something we don't know. Plus, like you said, everybody's training budget got cut.
Because what we're hoping to do, and Holly has already started, our finance director's already started, I'm working with her, and the other departments is starting that process that we have to do, because we have already had our auditors here, because we have told them, even though the local government commission, the state changed the requirement to be on time heretofore, it's always been October 31. They've extended it because so many people were having problems because there are so many audit firms, CPAs, if you will, that are qualified by the state to do audits. There's so many of them that don't do it anymore because they'd rather do private sector auditing where they make more money, and it's less complicated. So now they have extended that to December 31, but we've told our auditors we want to stand on their toes and get ours done by October 31, because we think it's critical for you to know and for us to know what the fund balance is as soon as possible.
That's correct. So, I would like to be early for a change instead of 3 years behind.
So do you think Holly will be here for the next meeting to let us know?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd also like to know what we have in contingency for this year as well. Because I know you have a roof that's leaking, has been leaking for several years, and this could be the year we need to replace it.
Well, we need to replace that, and her roof, several other roofs. Getting materials were absolutely crazy because you signed a contract after approval last December for the water filtration plant, which is essentially a $9 million project that we're contributing money to, and they have yet to replace the filters because they're still on order. They told us it would probably come in, start coming in August of this year, which is next month, obviously.
Okay. So it's my suggestion that we discuss with our finance officer. The manager in finance can bring back the contingency numbers and a best estimate on the fund balance, and we can make a decision going forward.
Right. Well, and she'll have a little better one because we're trying to get all the books closed as of June 30 and get all those bills in. So most of them have been paying because I've been signing stuff out in the twilight zone, if you will, to get it paid.
But from what you have seen and to the point that you have gotten to, you said this is affordable.
Oh,
I just want to make sure I heard you correct.
I think we can afford $128,000.
We can afford it.
We can afford it, yes. Okay. Now, like I said earlier, what's going to depend, going back to Commissioner Little Reed, what other department, including the sheriff's office, is going to come back and say they need something. Miss Barry and I both know that the school that is under construction, they're going to run out of money. They probably are somewhere around 75% complete, and that's going to be anywhere from $2.5 to $5 million easy. And people are going to say, well, you can't leave a school sitting there. Well, if you don't have the money, you don't have the ability to borrow the money, where are you going to get it?
We throw it out in grants.
Yeah, I was just going to say the grants, but based upon you saying we can afford it, and I know you saying other people may come, but I believe in you have not because you ask not, and we can't take it into consideration if they don't bring it to our attention.
Ms. Jackson.
They brought it to our attention, so.
Let's go back to it. I just want to throw something out there hypothetically. So we're talking about cuts that are coming from the federal government since that bill's passed, and based on discussions that were had by the state of North Carolina before Medicaid was adopted, and I doubt very seriously they're going to pick it up. So just say, for example, with DSS, and I don't have a clue what these numbers are, say if 25% of the people in Anson County that's getting Medicaid, if that Medicaid goes away, what does that do to the workload for DSS? Because you're going to have less citizens to be dealing with.
Right. If 25% of the cases were.
If they go away because they aren't getting Medicaid, right?
Right. And then what would happen with the workforce?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
With the workforce, it would probably result in a reduction in force.
So that's
but it would depend on what the workforce is at that time. Yeah. And then there's the awareness now that that's a probability.
Right. Okay. Just putting that out there. I mean, we're talking about adding people. A year or two from now, you may have to cut them.
But she,
I understand.
The administrative person that you have, she's responsible for the passwords and the computer, right?
Passwords, computers, supporting the admin staff to make sure the bills get paid, and like I said, and filling in at the front desk.
So that's something not going to go away. But like I said, I put that out hypothetically. It's something to be thinking about.
So if you had a choice, what would be the two most important positions you would rather have? In case you couldn't get all four.
In the event that I could not get all four, it would be looking at again, the processing assistant 4 position would be an essential position. Mm-hmm. The income maintenance investigator position, currently we are fortunate that Ms. Ross Huntley retired and thought enough of DSS to come back and work part-time. But of course, retirement and grandbabies are screaming in her ear, so she's ready to walk away as soon as she can. The advantage of having an income maintenance investigator is that citizen community recipients know that there's someone that's going to follow up with them if there's an allegation that their benefits are being misused. And so it kind of deters them from misusing the benefits because they know that that's going to happen. The income maintenance positions are important because currently Anson County is doing exceptionally well with meeting performance measures. And we are processing and getting things done above the 95% expectation rate that has been set by the state. And we currently do not have a backlog of cases. We don't have any cases that are applicants or recertifications that are pending outside of time frames. And so just trying to maintain that. Like I said, moving forward, we can better anticipate what's to come now that the big beautiful bill has passed. But an income maintenance caseworker and a processing assistant would probably be most vital at this time. Then I don't like to say that publicly.
How long
That
have
we
they,
don't have an investigator. Yes, sir.
how long have these 6 vacant positions been vacant?
The income maintenance caseworker position became vacant the Tuesday after Memorial Day. The IMC positions became vacant the end of April 1st of May. And the processing assistant position became vacant in April.
So with the fraud investigator, you already got a part-time worker, right?
Currently, Ms. Ross Huntley, who retired from the position, who was the initial income maintenance investigator, and is well known across the state for being an exceptional investigator.
Yes, ma'am.
Is back and working part-time.
So if she's working part-time, couldn't we just make up the difference in the salary? Would that help?
Ms. Huntley has no desire to return to full-time employment with Anson County Department of Social Services.
I guess based upon what the manager said, and if we can afford it, and even looking down the road, that there's potentially going to be cuts made. So with those cuts that are made, it will really offset itself because there's no need for force if there's no work. That's why it's called workforce. So if there's cuts, then you all will make cuts anyway. I mean, eventually. So if we can afford it, and it sounds like these are positions that are needed and necessary, right? Income fraud,
maintenance
income maintenance person, just to make sure that people should be recipients of all of those things. I'm willing to just make a motion that we approve it, based upon the manager's presentation that we can afford it.
Approve with all 4?
Approve those 4 positions.
I didn't hear the county manager say we could afford it.
I ask you again, did you say we could afford it? Did I hear you correctly?
We have $128,000 and change to pay for it.
I said,
So that means we can't afford it.
I said, can you?
Right.
I just heard your statement. I don't want to put words in your mouth. Did you say we can afford it?
I just said we can pay for it ipso facto, which means in effect we can afford it. Now, I do have to tell you that next year, probably if we don't have any growth in our tax base, even though next year is a reval, then it may be even a tighter year than this year.
Right. Which is going to
The
be
rest
one
of
of
the
two
story
things.
is coming out of fund balance.
Which is going to be one of two things. Your tax rate's going up, or you're going to have what do you call it? A workforce reduction.
Or we can reevaluate what we're sending
like a beautiful bill.
We can reevaluate what we're doing with $500,000 already.
All right, so we have
I feel like we need to go, I guess we're in discussion. I really think we need to wait till next meeting. Let's hear from the finance director just to make sure. That's just my opinion.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, well, I'll retract my motion till then.
Okay. So the motion's rescinded. So this time, is there any other questions for Ms. Jackson?
Ms. Jackson?
Ms. Jackson, I'm sorry. Ms. Leary, please. I
Commissioner
defer
Garwood.
to you.
How many employees do you have at DSS?
Currently, I have 54 employees, including myself.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Commissioner?
Ms. Jackson, I heard read a report where you had some snakes in your building recently. Can you tell us what happened and what's been the resolution?
There has not been a resolution as of yet. We have contacted B&B Pest Control to come in and do whatever they need to do to exterminate snakes. I will say that there is high anxiety because the thought is that the 2 snakes that were captured come from 2 much larger snakes. And so that's kind of where we are right now. So B&B has not come in yet to do whatever it is they would do, but they are aware.
All right.
Ms. Jackson, I have one request.
Yes.
Please don't call me for the snake removal.
Mr. Potter, I will say that there were several screaming women in the building, but there was one brave soul, Miss Tina Johnson, that walked in, grabbed them up, and took them out the back door and let them loose.
God bless her.
So we do have internal. She's not an exterminator, but snake whisperers.
I understand.
That's all right.
She captured them and let them go?
She let them go. Yes.
Well,
She did not want them killed. That's why she went in and picked them up herself.
I always picked them up. She picked them up and took them outside, yes.
Yes.
Had them in our building too.
I would like to just say to the Board of Commissioners that, Maureen does way more hours than I do, and I would not want her job for all the money in the world. But Anson County has good, committed, loyal employees that are not necessarily here for the salaries, but because they love Anson County. And I think that I know you have a hard job to do, but whatever you can do to continue to show employees that you value what they do. There are always exceptions, always people that break rules, but there are a lot of people, a more than you believe, that commit a lot to Anson County, even though they don't get salaries or recognition for all that they do. So thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Jackson.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Moving on to our public addresses to the board. So I'm going to read our public address statement. There shall be a time set aside at each regular meeting for the board of the board for public comment. Each citizen who wishes to speak during this time must sign up on a sign-up sheet prior to the start of the meeting. Each citizen shall be allowed 3 minutes for their presentation. All citizens are expected to follow proper decorum and shall not use profanity nor defamatory speech. The public is expected to remain seated except when leaving the room. Only presenters listed on the agenda or recognized by the chairman will be called to the podium to address the board. Commissioners are expected not to comment on matters brought to the board during this time, but to delay action or comment until the staff has had an opportunity to research the subject matter and to report necessary and relevant information to all members of the board. So at this time, I'm going to call, I think it is Christina Morton?
Martin. Chris Martin.
Christine Morton, okay. Good evening.
I
Good
think
evening.
most of everybody in here knows me because I've been on every board I think Anson County has had. I am here supporting Miss Lett and the animal shelter. And I just happen to be president of Friends of Anson County Animal Shelter. So the only thing I have to ask is they need help. Now, for the last 3 days, I have been in there cleaning 48 kennels, which means a staff member has to take a dog out. I have to go in there and spray it with bleach, clean it up, squeaky, clean it with a rag, wipe down, and then put the dog back in, get the water, and get the food. Now, I think everybody knows that I'm about 75 years old now, so it is a little difficult. As far as an animal control person, we need it bad. I have gone out many times with Marine just to find animals that their teeth have been pulled out, their legs are broken. These animals are starving. And all you have to do is drive around Anson County, Morven, Leisville, Ansonville, just look in the backyards and you will find all these animals chained. You've got 32 cats on, I think it's Little Street, just running wild. We cannot catch them all. The volunteers are all that Marine has right now, and that is her family, which I applaud them tremendously, and a group of us that drive and come down and clean kennels and feed cats and dogs. So I'm asking you with all my heart, please find the time to come to the kennels. Help us. Put on your boots, put on your gloves, help me clean the kennels. Now, I still cut hair 2 days a week, but the rest of the time is spent at the animal shelter. And if you look at the video again, you'll find a lot of animals that have been so abused that it is tearful. I just happened to be the one to get Penny, which is the dog that was starved, put in a garbage bag, and thrown out at Daryl's house on Gatewood Drive. And no reason, 2 years old, they starved her. So all I'm asking is please, on your budget, give the shelter some money. Friends, we do everything we can. We write grants, we have yard sales, we have all kinds of auctions, chicken dinners, chicken pot pies, whatever we can do to make the money. And of course, I'm right there, and I beg everybody, please look around. And I know they need help. Everybody does. So if you can, please look at us. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank
you. All right. That we did have, I think they are already gone. Mr. Cole and Mr. Dillon had signed up, but I think they were already on the appearances. So just wanted to make sure they weren't still sitting out there. All right, moving on. Next, appointments. We have a Board of Health appointments. So I'll entertain at this time a motion to approve Ms. Katie Edwards to be appointed to the Board of Health for a 3-year term.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Gatewood, second by Commissioner Mims. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, and then we also have an appointment, so I'll entertain a motion to appoint Dr. Holly Kiker to be reappointed to the Board of Health for another 3-year term.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Gatewood, second by Commissioner Little Reed. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. All right, that concludes our appointments, so we will move on down to our manager's report.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. First thing I have is a Farm Service Agency County Committee nomination form, and the board members need to take a look at it and decide who they want to nominate, or maybe you all want to collaborate on making a nomination as opposed to making multiple ones. And there's determinations in there. You probably know more about it than I do as a farmer.
I deal with these wonderful staff quite often.
You could be, you're eligible as a farmer.
No, I'm not. As a commissioner, you're not allowed to serve on this board. Yes, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, I mean we can nominate someone, but I think there's an election process to this. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Yeah. So it's open for nominations. Anyone within the what they call the LAA. You have to go to the Farm Service Agency to fill out the form, and then there is an election process.
Yeah, I've actually got a nomination form that if there's someone that the board wants to nominate, I can fill the form out and submit it to them, and then they can follow through with the rest of the process.
Okay. So, but yes, it is. There will be an election process. The FSA mails out the ballots and it's voted on. Right. Yeah. So, but yeah, they do play a vital part in our farm community. that board is directly responsible for, and I don't know all their details, but they're directly responsible for administering farm programs within the county. Specifically for me, I was there today actually signing up what acres I plant. The board will oversee that operation. Any federal funding or state funding that comes into that office, the board approves. So they do play a vital part for the local farmers.
And speaking of grants, because I did send Ms. Cannon one from Ag South, even though we don't have an Ag South office here, there's one close to us in Monroe as well as Albemarle, and so she's gonna submit an application for that. And it's my understanding there's not a match, so that's free money if we can get something.
Yep. Okay, so I mean, I think we can think on the appointments, and if you have someone, we can, let the manager know. We can get the form filled out.
We'll be glad to do it. Then, as we do once a quarter, I've got to give you the names for the employee of the quarter, or employees, I should say. And actually, there's 2 department heads, and then shelters. Jacqueline Castrojohn at the animal shelter was nominated. Gary Garrison, who is our wastewater treatment plant manager, he was nominated. Barry Malcolm in data processing was nominated. Wendell Small, who is our Parks and Rec director, as well as our facilities director, was actually nominated. And last but not least, I hate to say it because he's present, Nick Addison, our planning director, was nominated as to be an employee of the quarter. And of course, you know how we do this. Their name will go on a plaque that goes to the hallway, as well as they get certain other things that the board has approved in the budget.
Okay. I would like to see us put a little more emphasis on recognizing these employees, whether that's recognizing them here in a public forum or social media recognition, or I think we should promote this more because I do think it's valuable. I think it's a good way to show our employees that we do care and we value what they do for our county.
And I think you're right. I think Miss Adams, our clerk, could probably put something on our website that recognizes them every quarter.
Yep.
And that way, everybody should know.
I agree. Mr. Edwards, add in the paper somehow. I think we should publicly recognize these employees.
Okay. And I thought about having them come to a meeting, but some of them are.
They may not want to. Yeah.
Some of them are reticent about that.
I don't think that's a reward.
I understand.
That's not a reward.
I kind of want to shy away from these meetings too.
Could be viewed as punishment.
I guess we'll get them up front.
Yeah. Okay.
Last but not least, and it's something that I have discussed with our county attorney, is I had an agreement that we have been working on, it's police agreement, law enforcement, as I call it, because it deals with those issues. And I know there's a closed session that's on the end of this agenda, and I prefer, since it's a contract, to talk to you about it in closed session, just in case there's some things that the board would like to air out that's maybe not suitable for public consumption yet.
I understand. Yes, we can move that to a closed session item.
Okay.
All right. Anything else from you?
And with that one, I'll answer any questions the board might have. But like I said, I cover Miss Cannon up with grant opportunities. I'll put it like that, because we get them. We don't know whether if you don't apply, there's no way you're going to get it. But
that's right.
We've got a lot of irons in the fire right now.
All right. Is there any questions for the manager? All right. Well, hearing none, we'll move on to chairman's report. I just have a couple things I want to bring recognition to. First up is, again, our association, the conference coming up in August in Greenville. Let Ms. Adams know if you're going to plan to attend so she can make the accommodations. Also, at that convention, that is the time when we select one commissioner to serve as the voting delegate for Anson County. There'll be issues that'll be voted on upon in the business meeting. Each county gets one vote for representation, and so we have to nominate one person to serve as that voting delegate. So I guess at this time, I'll entertain motions to nominate someone for that voting delegate.
Nominate Commissioner Woodburn if he's interested.
Well, I'm gonna be there, so I'll do it if nobody else wants it.
I'll second that nomination because I've seen him in action before, so he does a good job representing the county. So, if no other nominations, I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Ellerby, second by Commissioner Gatewood. All in favor of electing Mr. Woodburn to serve as our voting delegate, say aye.
Aye. Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't see it in here. Do we have to do an alternate as well?
You don't have to, but it's suggested you have one.
Okay.
You don't have to do an alternate, but and I think we have customarily somebody that's going to.
Okay. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion for an alternate voting delegate.
I'll nominate Chairman Cottle. I think you're going, right?
I plan to go as of today, yes.
Okay, well, I'll nominate Chairman Cottle as the alternate.
Okay.
Second.
All right. So we have a motion by Commissioner Woodburn, second by Commissioner Gatewood to appoint myself as the voting alternate. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. I'll be there to support you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Next is the Anson County Blood Drive. They're hosting a blood drive tomorrow. Thursday, July 17th at the Emergency Services Center out on Country Club Road. So if you have an opportunity and are willing, it'd be a good chance to give some blood, save a life. Also, the North Carolina Yarn Tour, Yarn Crawl is happening. I'm a little late in announcing this, but Saturday, July 19th, they'll have an event across the street at the Yarn, I think it's Yarn Studio. Yes, Studio 256, yes. From 9 to 5, they'll have events going on. And then also on Friday, July 25th, and then Saturday, July 26th, they will have some events going on at the same location. Also coming up on Wednesday, July 16th, the open house will be held for the Recovery Resource Center. This is put in conjunction with Safer Communities. It's an addiction recovery, reentry resources. So that'll be, the open house will be on Wednesday, July 16th at 12 o'clock. That's out on 74 next to Feed My Lambs. So just wanted to bring some awareness to those events that are happening right now. And that concludes the chairman's report. So I'll open the floor for any commissioner concerns or comments.
Mr. Scott, I'm still waiting on about the easel down for the water treatment plant. Have y'all come to an agreement or something?
Say that one more time.
I'm still waiting to hear. I'm still waiting to hear about the easement at the water treatment plant. Have you and the owners came to agreement?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, I'd like to speak.
Sure, go ahead.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's okay. It's okay. So that, we're actually negotiating with the owner on it, so that's why the attorney would rather speak to you, since it will be a contractual matter in closed session.
Okay.
I know.
It is an open negotiation. So.
Yes.
Any other commissioner concerns or comments?
I just got one.
Yes, sir.
More so, when we do the minutes and everything, what goes online for the public's view and everything, like our handouts and things like this, can we make sure that that makes it into the, so they can see it too in the meeting minutes? Like when we get handouts handed to us from presenters, so they can reference back to them and see what information is on there.
Okay, yeah, that is doable. Ms. Adams, if you'll make sure that happens. All right.
If it's something that they bring, can they not just forward it to the next meeting packet? Just like what Ms. Cannon brought for us, so you put it in.
Oh, put it in the minutes for the previous meeting. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's suitable. So, okay. Any other commissioner concerns?
I'm concerned that we haven't heard anything back from the local government commission regarding our budget. And I don't know if it would be appropriate for us to reach out to them to seek some feedback or just stay silent.
I'm gonna,
I think it would be to show them that we are concerned about getting in line with what they want us to do. So I think that's a very,
I was surprised today. I think I know why they haven't. It's because they have changed directors that I already knew about, as well as some other employees. But I knew, we all know there's 100 counties in North Carolina. They all do an annual budget just like we do. There's also, and I was still thinking it was only like 500 and some odd municipalities, villages, towns, and cities. It's actually 773. So the reason we probably haven't gotten anything back is because they've got close to 900. If you add the 773 and the 100 together, that's 873. But we can reach out to them and see what they have to say. And matter of fact, I was at a managers meeting just a couple weeks back, and NCACC folks were there. The North Carolina League of Municipality folks were there. Nobody from the LGC. School of Government was there, but nobody from the LGC. I was surprised. It's one of the first times I've been to one in a long time where they didn't have a representative. But we'll reach out to them and try to give you a report as to what they say at the next meeting, if that's okay.
I don't think it will hurt.
I don't think it will hurt.
No.
To,
And we know our situation. I'd like to hear from them.
yeah. To,
Okay. We'll sure do it.
All right. Thank you.
all right.
Sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Anyone else on commissioner concerns? All right, well, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to enter into closed session to consult with the attorney on some contract negotiations.
moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gatewood, second by Commissioner Mims. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Police agreement.
Revised.
Revised interlocal.
Revised,
All right. We're back live.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Little Reed to come out of closed session. We have a second by Commissioner Woodburn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, now back in open session. Is there any other business we need to conduct tonight?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I need to make a motion that we approve the revised interlocal agreement for the town of Waynesboro and the Anson County Sheriff's Office.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion by Commissioner Mims to approve the revised interlocal agreement for police assistance for the town of Waynesboro. We have a second by Commissioner Gatewood. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. All right, this time.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Gatewood, second by Commissioner Ellerby. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion adjourned.
That was pretty enthusiastic.